Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Wednesday night of Modern action here at MTG Card Market. I'm Matthew Cartier, joined in the booth by Dan Dwan, and we are hoping to watch some fantastic Modern tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a ton of people out here, despite it being Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Despite the fact that it is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I think this is probably the largest turnout we've had for a Modern event in quite some time.
Yeah, we've easily got 30, 40 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So this should be. We should see some decks that we probably haven't seen, just because the people who play them haven't been around.
Oh yeah. There's actually quite a few people who I spoke to. It was like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I was like, yeah, this is my first time coming back for 6 months, a year. Yeah. So a lot of people are getting the itch again. So it should be a great stream. We've tried to get you as much variety as possible.
Yeah, the dream would be 8 decks. Eight decks in 4 rounds sort of thing. But.
Yeah, absolutely. If there are people in chat who are interested in seeing anything in particular, we can make an effort to try to get specific decks out there. Otherwise, we'll just try to cast, good players, good decks, good magic.
Yeah. And also with recent Modern results to talk about, we had a classic this weekend in Knoxville as part next to the SCG Standard Open. And one deck that I'm definitely interested in talking about, maybe between rounds or something, is the Rise of Sun and Moon, which is the I believe Todd Anderson played it to win that classic. And you're just playing like Chalice of the Void and Blood Moon, and it's great. It's the format has gotten to a point where 4 Chalice, 4 Blood Moon, probably fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's never particularly healthy for a format to be just mono hate. We saw a bit of that with Eldrazi, where people were just like, "Yeah,
I'm gonna play Big Game Hunter. This is fine."
When the format gets a little wonky, it does warp towards specific hate or obscure decks.
Yeah,
but we'll see what will be happening next weekend. We have a pretty major event in the Modern scene with the Invitational.
Yeah, that should be pretty large.
Right. It is one of the, outside of Pro Tours, one of the most try-hardy events on the calendar. So we'll see.
Now you've played at Invitationals before, right?
Yeah.
And are you gonna play this one?
I will actually be in Atlanta for this one. Yes.
Do you know what you're gonna run for Modern yet?
Not sure. I know what I'm playing for Standard, but for Modern,
I mean, I assume you're playing Green, Black, and Standard.
Yeah, just good decks. Good decks.
Good cards.
Standard is a much more solved format than Modern is, though.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been actually sort of an uptick in articles about, Standard's been solved and now I'm not having fun playing Standard, and it's like, is it solved? I mean, it does. To be fair, it seems like there's sort of like black, green, and blue, white somewhere in here, and then everything else just sort of filtering below.
Right. If one of them steps out of line, becomes a little overrepresented, the bad matchups for them can really take down a tournament.
Yeah.
If green black ever becomes too dominant, then you're gonna see people return to like Marvel decks, and things like that. But it looks like we're getting round 1 pairings here. We'll see if we can grab a match real quick.
It's Silberman. Oh, he's not here. Okay. These guys are this one.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll run outside.
Yeah.
See if we can get some new faces on camera.
Yeah. So hopefully Dan will get us a good match. In the meantime, I'm gonna kick it down to the play area, get this round timer going here, and get ourselves underway. Yeah, no, we were just commenting here before the stream started that apparently what you do on Thanksgiving is not, go to be with your family. It is come to MTG Card Market and play Magic on a Wednesday night, which, quite frankly, we're pretty okay with because this tournament is going to be huge and we're going to see some stuff that we haven't, seen in a long time or maybe even ever on the stream. So, fingers crossed that we can get some deck diversity that for which Modern is famed going here. And while Dan is still out of the booth, we can speculate idly about the format going forward. There's obviously a ban list update coming in January, which is going to be, which some people are looking for to help fix the format. Some people are, hopeful that things will change then. But we are going to get players sitting down here. So on the right, we are going to have Brandon Salgado. And he is normally on Infect and has been in the past, correct?
We've also seen him on Grixis.
Okay.
And there's a fair number of people who have swapped decks tonight as well. So
oh, okay, so he could be playing something completely out of the blue.
He could play anything.
Okay, and Lauren usually plays Norin Sisters, correct?
That is what I remembered her playing, yes.
Okay.
But I did not ask or check. So
okay. I did see an Arid Mesa earlier tonight, so it's possible that we are in red-white. We'll have to see if we're on the Norin train. Okay, yeah, it's Norin Sisters.
Yep.
So.
Although that might have been like Holodunk's command on top.
Mardu Norin Sisters? I could see it.
Possibly.
Yeah, so Norin Sisters, a little bit of an obscure deck. Relies on ETB effects and this card, which I'm going to pull up on the right here. Norin the Wary. When a player plays a spell or a creature attacks, remove Norin the Wary from the game. Return it to play under its owner's control at the end of turn. So you normally think that a 2/1 for red should be able to do damage, but in this case, this card is like the exact opposite. This card is just trying to trigger enter the battlefield effects.
Right. This is an engine in of itself in the Soul Sisters deck. Mm-hmm. So what Soul Sisters tries to do, you play a lot of creatures that gain life. A lot of creatures like Soul Warrior. When another creature comes in the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Norn will trigger that automatically on pretty much any spell cast during the game. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple different win cons with this. If you get over 30 life, you can attack with a Sarah Ascendance. I believe that's the name.
Yeah.
Yes.
This card's really good. If you have more than 30 life, it's a 1-mana 6/6.
Yeah, 6/6 lifelinker fly.
Right. So once this card comes down, mm-hmm. you're never you're not gonna lose.
You will not lose in combat.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put it that way. That's one of the win con. A Johnny's Pride Mate is another, where
mm-hmm.
whenever you gain life, put a +1 counter on it, which in combination with other cards can get out of hand very quickly.
We are experiencing a minor freeze here. I'm going to throw it back up to the booth real quick. Then we'll throw it back down to the play area, see if that's fixed itself. All right, it looks like it has. We'll try to toggle one more time here.
Mm-hmm. It looks like we might be having minor technical issues here.
Yeah. All right, so we'll leave it here for 5 or 10 seconds, then throw it back down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fingers crossed. All right, this looks good. Both players shuffling up. I believe I do see a Glistener Elf in Brandon's hand, though. So we're going to put him on Infect.
All right, so Lauren started off with the Cavern of Souls. And then following up with Martyr Sands.
No, that's a Souls. That's a.
Oh, excuse me, that's not a Martyr. That's a Souls.
It's not Soul Warden. It's the other one.
Souls Attendant.
Yes, Soul's Attendant.
Yes.
Okay, so this card is functionally the same thing as Soul Warden, which we showed earlier. Brandon here, Taxing Probe. This will get a good look at the hand. So it's an Elspeth Knight Errant, a Ranger of Yos, some lands, and one card that I didn't see on the far side. And Brandon here with Infect. Now this is a matchup where I feel like Norn Sisters does have the ability to make lots of blockers. Oh man, this is gonna be great.
A lot of blockers. So you'll be able to chump every attack, and as far as but the problem is the life gain is not going to be relevant at all.
Because Infect, of course, is doing poison damage. So the one of the biggest assets of the game is that's a Pride Mage, right?
Yeah. So this is gonna be a Johnny's Pride Mate, and plays very nicely with cards like Soul's Attendant, because when the card enters the battlefield, it causes you to gain 1 life, and you automatically get a 3/3.
Yeah, and so the thing is that this is how Norn Sisters can sort of close the game out against an Infect deck, because this card will get very big very quickly. Infect doesn't really have a way to kill it outside of maybe a Dismember, and so this is Johnny's Pride Mate, assuming it doesn't have to like chump and stuff, will provide an insanely fast clock.
Oh, absolutely. Brandon's gonna play Breeding Pool, shocking, going to 16 here.
Oh yeah, he did probe.
And gonna play another Gliss now.
Trigger. So, keeping us on our toes here with the modification of the overlays, but...
Yeah, and it looks like Brandon did attack for 1 there.
Okay, and I believe Lauren just took that. Lauren here, Cavern again, is going to be able to play a Norn the Wari now. Trigger Pride Mate.
So, something that doesn't come up too often, but will in this matchup, is the way that +1/+1 counters interact with -1/-1 counters.
And how do they interact, Dan?
So Infect creatures, when they deal damage to other creatures, will deal the damage as -1/-1 counters.
Yes.
So as a state-based effect, that will negate that many +1/+1 counters.
Interesting. Okay.
So this is like, Kitchen Finks is atrocious against Infect creatures, because you won't ever get the persist.
Yeah. Now I think Lauren might have missed her Norn trigger, because she didn't, when the Pride Mate attacked, she didn't flicker the Norn and bring it back end of turn.
Yeah, it looks like that might have been missed, and we can bring back Norn to where it just because that's certainly the most.
It's not exactly a common card, and it has a pretty unique effect.
Right.
Okay, so there will flicker out as Brandon casts a Might of Old Krosa, which is a pump spell.
This will, if cast in the main phase, will give it +4/+4.
Yeah, so this is big because now Brandon is attacking with a 5/5 and a 1/1. And so Brandon looks like he might use the Pendelhaven here to give an additional power to his other elf. So this is Pendelhaven. This allows you to give a creature +1/+1, or +1/+2 if it's a 1/1. So Lauren gonna go to 3 poison here, rapidly approaching the point where any attack from this, every attack from this Infect deck has to be blocked. That being said, she does have the play of play Ranger of Yos here, and then block for a turn with a Johnny's Pride Mate and Ranger of Yos, and then play the 1-drops that the Ranger fetches for her.
Right. One play that I might actually prefer is playing the Elspeth.
Sure.
Because the Elspeth will get you incremental value. You can make a soldier every turn.
This is true. Yeah, Elspeth. This is Elspeth Knight Errant here. A lot of cards that we're not used to seeing, but
the original.
This is an attack for 5 here. Oh no, it's not. It's an attack for more.
Yeah.
She attacked for because I believe she plussed on the Pride Mage.
It looks like she did plus on it. So this was a big attack. This was an attack for 8.
So Brandon's at 3, and he's dead unless he has the ability to kill Lauren. That being said, though, he only needs to do 7 points of damage.
Yeah, 7 points. You already have 3 on board if you include Pendelhaven and both Glistener Elves.
Right, so he just needs... Oh, he has it, I believe.
Right, and it's important to note also the Norn will flicker as soon as you attack.
Right, so there's no blocker.
Yeah.
So this is a mutagenic growth. Brandon going to go to 1 here. Lauren is tapped out, but this does expose him to a lightning bolt.
No.
If Lauren weren't tapped out.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a dangerous play unless, Lauren has no mana up. And then this is a blossoming defense. A new card printed in Kaladesh has quickly become a staple in infect lists. This will give him +2/+2. So he has lethal on board now, and here comes the attack.
Yep, he has like a Vines of Vastwood in hand as well as another blossoming defense. This should be easily more than 10.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to do it. Brandon Salgado takes game 1 over Lauren Wilkin on Norn Sisters.
Yeah. We saw that just infect doing what it wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Now, from Lauren's side, I probably would have preferred making a soldier with Elspeth.
I prefer make a soldier and then hold everything.
Hold everything, yeah. Because Brandon didn't have a blighted agent, every attack you're forcing him to burn a pump spell.
Right, or maybe it's a Pendelhaven activation, but that's still like, if you're chumping with your soldier on his Pendelhaven creature, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's just going to trade back and forth every turn.
And you're short of Brandon drawing his way out of it. Drawn into a
Blight Agent or Distortion Strike.
Or Distortion Strike. Or, possibly a Rancor if he's on an old list. It's very difficult for Brandon to climb out of that. Because you'll be making a soldier every turn. Ranger of Eels will get you a lot of value. And eventually, it's difficult to stem that tide.
Yeah. If Lauren, if the Pride Mate, if a Johnny's Pride Mate had been a little bit bigger and that attack had been lethal, I just think that, not killing Infect when they have 3 on board, 3 on you, and just need to do the last 4. With, Brandon had 5 cards in hand. I just think it's so risky, right? He's not, if he had Blighted Agents, he would have played them. If he had Noble Hierarchs, he would have played them. His hand has to be some combination of just loads of pump spells.
Right. With the line that was taken, you're putting your opponent on Stone Cold Nothing, right?
Right.
The line is only effective if your opponent has actual nothing. And if you were in a desperate situation and that was your only route to victory, by all means take it. But Lauren's hand was, reasonable. Her board presence, she had reasonable cards.
Yeah.
So
I think
I would have preferred taking a different line. But then again, Brandon's hand, was quite powerful. We did see, I think there was a Vines double blossoming defense.
He had everything. I think that it's very difficult to win. It's very difficult to win through that hand unless you're committed to sort of making a blocker. Because you can also see, if Brandon doesn't have it, and you give him extra turns to draw out of it, then you could be in. If he draws out of it, then you feel really bad for not attacking. We've seen in previous weeks, people who should have attacked and didn't, and then they wind up losing the game because they needed that extra damage. Before the faster deck sort of closed them out. But, as we go to game 2 here, I think, Norn Sisters, they can bring in Lightning Bolt if they aren't playing it main already, because I think, there's so many creatures that they're playing main to, trigger Enter the Battlefield effects that I'm actually not sure where the bolts are. They can bring in Path to Exile, too, just clean everything up against Infects.
Yeah, I mean, if this is just white-red... Norn Sisters, you have 8 premium removal spells just in those colors. If that was a Kolaghan's command I saw earlier and it's Mardu, you have even more.
Yeah.
But just within the Boros colors, there's quite a bit of interaction.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, yeah. 8 removal spells 4 Path, 4 Bolt is
quite a lot.
That's a lot. Most decks in Modern are not playing. Certainly, most decks are. The only other deck that plays 4 Path, 4 Bolt is Jeskai. And most decks are not playing anywhere near that amount of spot removal.
Right. And we mentioned it before, and it bears repeating. This deck spews out tons of creatures. We saw a Ranger of Eos. That could get any number of cards. If you get a Squadron Hawk there. that's effectively getting 4 more creatures.
You can't actually get Squadron.
Oh, excuse me, not Squadron Hawk. This would be getting either more Soul Wardens or Saracens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is mostly to get Saracens.
So Lauren, looking at a hand, it looks like she only has 1 land there, but I think she's decided to keep. Brandon, on the other hand, did not like his 7 and is going to have to mull. And that's one of the things about Infect that, I think honestly is like one of the reasons that the deck isn't just the best deck, is that you are limited by the consistency of you have to draw in your opener at least 1 Infector. You cannot keep a hand with no Infectors unless you're on like 4 or 5 cards.
Right.
Probably 4, honestly.
And I mean, you do have 12.
Right. So it's like, if you think about it, it's like if you flip 7 cards off the top, like it's a little bit less than hitting like 1 of a given suit in a 52 card deck. So it's not unreasonable to like the reason the deck is able to perform as well as it does is because it's pretty reasonable to hit 1 or 2 in the first 6 or 7, but
and even with the mulligan to 6.
I think he has multiple Inkmoth, or at least 1 Inkmoth, maybe? I can't tell. Okay, whatever. Brandon has decided to keep. He'll get to scry, push it to the bottom.
No,
he pushed it top. He was at top. Okay. He was gesturing with it in a way that made me question what he was doing. Okay, so this is a Soul Warden here.
Another one of the 1 mana gain life.
Gain life when stuff enters the battlefield. Brandon here going to start off with a fetch. Misty Rainforest going for Forest. I think he has a Breeding Pool in hand as well, so does have access to all colors of mana. That's one of the things with Infect sometimes you if you have like the Forest Inkmoth draw, it's like, oh, I really would like a blue source here at some point, but most of the time, because you play 9 fetch lands in most lists, like you're not really worried about having access to your splash color.
Right.
And this is a Noble Hierarch. And I believe we did see the Inkmoth in Brandon's hand too.
Right. Between Noble Hierarchs, and really you only need 1 blue source.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Having 2 is nice, but realistically you only ever need 1.
Absolutely. And so one of the things about with Infect is what I've found in my limited experience on the deck is if you play if you have the Inkmoth draw and you don't have a Hierarch, it's very, very slow.
Yes, absolutely. So this is going to be a repeat of what happened last game.
With the Ajani's Pride Mage.
Yeah, Lauren's going to play a turn 2 Ajani, trigger the Pride Mage, go to 21, and effectively play 3/3.
Right. And so here Brandon will fire off a probe. That will take him down to 17, and we'll get to look at the hand here. So we have a Brimaz, a Ranger of Yos, another a Soul Attendant, and I don't know what that last card was over the Brimaz. But the problem here for Lauren is that critically she doesn't have a flying blocker.
Right.
And that is...
She has no flying blocker or removal.
Right, and that means you're in real trouble. She has to try to race, and I think the way that starts is you play both the Soul Warden she just drew and the Soul's Attendant she has in her hand.
So the important thing with this deck is there's going to be
that's a champion.
Just a champion parish. Okay, so there are a lot of triggers with this deck, and it's often easy to miss some of these triggers.
Right.
So for example, for this sequencing, if Lauren had played a Soul Warden first, she would get 2 triggers off of Champion of Parish.
Right. And this Ajani's Primate will crunch for 5 here.
Lauren taking the line of choosing to make the Champion Parish bigger as opposed to making the Ajani Pride Mage one.
I mean, Brandon will have a chump blocker with the Hierarch, but like there's a good chance that Lauren just dies like really, really quickly here.
I'm a little surprised that Lauren also is not jamming with the Soul Warden.
Yeah, I just think you need to race. Next turn, Lauren makes she's gonna get 2 triggers. It'll go to a 7/7.
Yeah, Lauren. There are draws where Lauren can have lethal next turn.
Really? Oh, especially with Brandon tapping the Hierarch here.
Right.
Him tapping the Hierarch. If he can't kill Lauren, like he's in trouble.
I mean, so if Lauren had attacked with the Soul Warden on turn 2, and attacked with it on turn 3, that's 2 extra points of damage, and that's...
Brandon at 10 would be huge here.
Brandon at 10 would be huge, because that would actually make most attacks lethal.
As it is, she's gonna need to hit some luck.
Right.
Okay, so this is Champion of the Parish. It's a human soldier. It gets counters when stuff enters the battlefield. This is an attack for 3 with that Ink Moth.
Yeah, so this is only an attack for 3, which is, I mean,
Brandon... I think she's dead next turn.
No, I think Brandon's dead this turn.
Depends on what she has, right?
So she's going
to
trigger. So this is going to make the Pride Mage from a 5/5 to a 7/7. It's also going to trigger the Champion Parish.
If Lauren has another creature, Brandon is dead.
No, I mean, this is 7 plus... Yeah.
And Brandon is going to scoop it up. Lauren Wilkin with the rush down with the Pride Mate. Getting there despite not getting those 2 points in.
The Pride Mate gets out of hand extremely quickly.
As someone who plays against... who plays decks that play lots of lightning bolts, playing against Pride Mate is one of those things where you're just like, please let me have the bolt for this. Like, if they play Pride Mate, you cannot, it just gets so big and it's so free, right? Like, they're just, I'm developing my board, but my Pride Mate is also enormous.
Right.
Yeah, so, but, I mean, and there we just see, Infect getting raced. I almost like, leave... I like the play of leave Hierarch back, attack for 2. And then next turn, so then you chump the Pride Mate, and then that fuels your delve for...
You might be a little constrained on mana, because you would only have 3 lands. But if you got in for 2...
But you're getting the Distortion Strike as a delve. You had 2 in the yard already. Like, he's super close to chumping the Pride Mate there, and then winning with Distortion Strike Become Immense on his turn.
Yes, the problem is you would only have 1 land for the Become Immense and only, I believe, 3 cards in the graveyard.
Well, you'd have the Hierarch, the Fetch, the Probe, the Distortion Strike, and you only need 1 more.
Oh, yeah. You're absolutely correct. If he had to Become Immense, that would be a much closer line.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if he had it or not, but... I mean, I thought I saw it earlier, but...
Right. Well, as it stood, Brandon's attack pretty much put him dead on board, right?
Right. You can't... I think he had to leave the Hierarch as a blocker.
Yeah, and he was just straight dead on board. Short of, having literally...
Oh, wait, no, my line doesn't work, actually, because he had to cast a Distortion Strike that turn with the Hierarch.
Did he not have a blue source?
Oh, he might have had a breeding pool. I'm not sure.
If there was a breeding pool, then
yeah.
I like that line a little better.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we can go back and, people will be able to watch over and stuff. But, it's one of those decisions where you're like, it's just like, that's such a sort of fine line to shoot there. Like, I can sort of see why Brandon made the play he did. I guess I would have liked to have seen the Hierarch as a blocker, though.
So back in the day, the Infect deck did actually play the card Fog in the sideboard.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that's the case. It's certainly not the case anymore.
Wow, there are 100+ cards with Fog in their name.
Right, but short of that.
Okay, we're gonna look up this card. This is what Fog. Nope. Wow. I just want Literal Darkness. Okay, so this card is Fog. Has the effect of Fog, but it's green. Fog is just a single green mana. It just prevents all combat damage. So I don't think that Infect plays it anymore.
No, Infect certainly does not play it anymore. But
before they used to, in the old days.
Before there was a possibility that I played it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So Lauren's hand very different this time. She still has a turn 1.
She doesn't have a turn 1 anything as a tap land, I think.
Okay. Well, she does have double bolt in hand.
Yeah, I think having a turn 1 tap land is totally fine because you're just gonna bolt everything.
Right. Brandon choosing not to play the turn 1 Glistener Elf though.
Running into Bolt is really bad with this if it's his only Infector, right? If you keep Glistener Elf against a deck is in red white. I think you have to protect it, right? If you don't, we've seen how quickly Norn Sisters can close the game. I really don't think that there's any reasonable argument for playing the Glistener Elf before turn 2.
If you have multiple Infect creatures in hand,
right? But if it's your only
one, I'm less inclined unless your hand has no protection or if you only have 1 land.
Right. Yeah. It is. There are some constraints about it, but if Brandon has a second land here, he has a Blighted Agent too. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I do like playing the elf actually.
Brandon's going to shock here to 17.
Yep.
He's going to play the Glistener Elf, and he does have a Blossoming Defense in hand as well.
And that's super good because if Lauren only has one land, remember.
Right.
So if I were, if you're her, you're tempted to bolt this elf, but if you're, oh wow, she drew a Sacred Foundry, which is super good right now. Right. Because what she can do is like, she can try to force the chump with one of her creatures. Her hand is loaded with stuff. Mm-hmm. The question is, does she, or she can just kill the elf, right? Like,
right. She can try to kill the elf.
Oh, she's gonna play a Norn.
Norn.
Okay, and she's gonna play a Soul Warden. Yeah. Okay, and she'll go to 21 at the end of turn when the Norn flickers back in. Again, we'll put that up on the side here, guys. Norn the Worry.
Yeah.
Card from Time Spiral just leaves the battlefield all the time.
Right. So this is a little bit scary to do, especially since you allow Brandon to untap, and he's going to, if he attacks with this Glistener Elf, you're almost priced into making a block with the Soul Warden.
I mean,
and then you would be happy with that trade.
You're really only dead to Might Muta, though.
Right. No, you're not necessarily dead, but you can take a significant chunk here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that ultimately, well, because the thing is Brandon does want to play this Blighted Agent, right? Like,
yes.
I honestly don't know if I would block knowing that I have because Lauren does have a Pride Mate in hand. So, like, if he starts with, obviously, like, okay, so he's going to Muta here, going to 15 to do so.
And he's going to do this pre-combat.
I mean, if you're Lauren, like, you're only dead to...
Okay, so I'm a little interested about why he did that pre-combat.
I am as well.
He may not be aware of the text of Norn getting flickered on attackers.
Right, absolutely. He obviously, like, is a dangerous blocker, but... So now Brandon, I believe, played the Blighted Agent with no protection.
Right.
Okay, if you're Lauren, you bolt this thing so fast.
Right.
You have to bolt.
It's very tempting to play the Johnny's Prime Man just like because it's going to get so big. No, you're going to make a 4/4 with Norn.
Oh yeah.
But you will lose to the Blighted Agent immediately.
Blighted Agent is so good against Soul Sisters.
Yes.
It's actually somewhat astonishing how good Blighted Agent is. And she's going to pass it back. Okay. I don't like that play.
Right. There's just no reason to do this.
And Brandon draws another land too.
Yeah, you're putting yourself into an awkward position of potentially getting blown out.
So the thing is now is that Brandon can play 3 pump spells to the 2 bolts that Lauren is holding up. So like if he goes for it, she might just be dead.
Yeah. I mean, short of Brandon having Might of Old Krosa,
he has Becomiments.
Before anything happens, I want to fetch here. Especially
I agree.
With Becomiments in hand, you don't want to ever get into a weird situation where you're like 1 short off of Delve because they responded to a fetch.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
Excuse me. 1 short in Delve, meaning you'll have the card in the graveyard, but you won't have the land in play.
Right. Yeah, no, that's responding to fetches is very powerful sometimes.
Right.
Like
So now that we've established this,
Muta.
I'm just very curious.
Lauren, wait. She's going to respond with a bolt, and I don't like that. I think you need to wait.
You're right. So Brandon's going to respond with
if Lauren doesn't respond here, I think she's just dead.
Yeah, if she doesn't respond, she will be dead. The Norn trigger will happen above all of this, right? The Norn trigger happens on every spellcast.
And so Brandon is going to do this, and because the Blossoming Defense resolved, this has hexproof. And Lauren is just dead. I think.
Yeah, we're
barring
just done here.
like Simian Spirit Guide Blessed Alliance, right? Like swing, dead. And
it looks like Lauren may not have been aware that it was unblockable. Yeah, so this is going to be more than enough damage. It's going to be it was 1 from the last turn.
No, it's 3. He muted.
It was 3 from last turn. There's a Muta and there was a Blossoming Defense and a Becomiments. This is more than 10.
Yeah, this is a lot. That's 11.
This is 9 just by itself, right?
No, so it's
2 plus.
It's 10 because
6
plus 2 plus 2 is 10. Plus the Blighted Agent.
Plus 1, yeah, so this is 11 by itself.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a lethal attack all on its own. In fact, taking down Norn Sisters there.
Alright, so we're trying to get you guys another match here.
Yeah, so Dan is gonna hop out of the booth. Yeah, so there I think, the better line against the Blighted Agent is so the first thing is that Mutagenic Growth. Absolutely do not bolt in response to mutagenic growth, response to the first mutagenic growth. Because the Infector, right? The Infector is now a 3/3. It still dies to bolt. So here's how this happens: is Brandon attacks for 3. Lauren is like, sure, you're attacking for 3. If Brandon goes for it, I guess if he has another pump spell, you lose. I guess if he has 3 pump spells exactly, you lose the game. But like, I think ultimately, like, the first best line was to kill the Blighted Agent on Lauren's turn. The second best line was to not respond to the Muta. And then the third best line was, even though it still put her dead, was to not let the Blossoming Defense resolve without, forcing Brandon to use the comments. I think that either way, like, once Brandon untapped, like, Lauren was just 100% dead, but there are, like, letting Blossoming Defense resolve basically means, okay, you can't do anything to this creature for the rest of the turn, and you're almost assuredly going to lose the game if that happens. So just that, we're seeing the power of unblockable. It's not as common of a keyword anymore. There's some abilities that grant it and stuff in standard right now, but for decks like Lauren's that for the large part rely on creatures to block, unblockable is very. It's very, very strong, right? Like, there's no way that you don't interact with it, which is why you have to play bolts and stuff. And in this case, even with a wealth of blocker, even with a blocker available, Brandon was able to take it down. So Dan out there right now, hopefully gonna find us a match. I can't imagine that there's not another one. But yeah, so, and also one of the things about the Norn Sisters deck that we sort of briefly talked about before, but sort of got cut off by the play, is that Norn Sisters gains a lot of life. And it's very, very good against decks like Burn that are trying to reduce your life total to 0. Or like Death Shadow, which is trying to reduce your life total to 0. But against Infect, all these synergies, all of this life gain, it means nothing. And that's the really unfortunate part if you're Lauren here, is, you get matched up against the one deck in Modern that, like, doesn't really care what your life, doesn't care what your life total is mechanically, not just like, I can beat this. Oh, yeah. All right, so on the left here, we're going to have Sean Collender. He's playing Bant Spirits. He just showed us a lovely hand there. It's got a Geist in it, Drog Skull Captain.
Ooh, this is everything you would want.
There's like a Rest in Peace and a Drog Skull Captain. And who is Sean battling against? David Birdmark. Do we know what he's playing?
We do.
What is he
playing?
playing?
This is a deck we have not had on camera ever.
Okay, hit me with it.
He is playing Blue-Black Mill.
Oh, here we go.
So this is game 3. Sean will be on the play.
That's okay. I don't know how Mill beats a Geist.
Geist is a very fast clock.
Yes, in some contexts, 6 a turn is considered fast.
If Sean makes goes turn 1 birds or turn 1 nobles,
this
into
game is
turn 2
almost
Geist,
impossible to
the
lose.
game is over.
Yeah.
I mean, short of David having multiple archive traps.
Oh yeah.
Is hard to
I
present
love
the clock
archive
fast.
trap, by the way. Okay, guys. So this is actually, I just said some things before that I'm gonna retract now. The Infect is not the only deck in Modern that does not care what your life total is, as a matter of course. The other deck that does not care is the Blue-Black Mill. I was literally just saying the deck that does not care is Infect, but no. So Sean here, gonna go to probably 17 off of this, I assume. He's gonna have a 1-drop. Turn 1 Noble Hierarch. Archive Trap. All right, here we go.
All right, so Archive Trap is 13.
Sean's library is at what? He's at 40 now. He's on the play. He kept
started
7.
with 7. Fetched. So there's 8
Oh,
cards.
it's 39.
Yes.
39 cards. All right. We'll try to keep a running total of
38, right?
No, so it's 60 to 53, 53 to 52, minus 1339.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is that, Dan? Chat, please.
I believe this is the card that whenever a permanent untaps.
Oh, Mesmeric Orb. I don't know, because Sean.
It might not be Mesmeric Orb.
It's not this.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that card is. Whatever. Sean goes to 15 here.
So with a turn 2 Geist, this is just a 3-turn clock. you're attacking for 7 each time.
Yes. It is very difficult to lose when when the mill deck cannot kill your guy. So yes, David needs some archive traps. What? Okay, I kind of want to go on a mission to find out what this is.
That is a Sherlock Isle, though, for the land he just played. If a player has 20 or more cards in a graveyard, you can play this for free.
Yeah. Can you go check what that card is?
Yeah. We're gonna check, see what that card is.
Dan is out of the booth momentarily while we figure out what on earth that card is and what it does. It's a 1-drop. It's an artifact. Oh, chat, you might be right. All right, so this is an attack for 8. David going to go to 11. Wow, yeah. So that what Sean just played as a Drog Skull Captain. This card buffs your spirits, so it buffs the Geist. The Geist also gets an extra point of damage from the Exalted trigger. So I've been told it's that artifact that gains you 1 when you cast a black spell.
It is Profane Momentum.
Okay, this card has never been searched on this computer before. Oh, it's Memento.
Yes.
Oh! We were talking about how to race a Geist. He's up to 21? No, he's up to 31.
This is 4 creatures, gain 8 life.
Oh, creature card, okay.
Yeah, so this is going to gain him 8 life.
He's going to go to 19? Cool, it's like Sean never attacked at all.
I mean, yeah, this is one way you stay alive.
Rest in peace from Sean. Oh, okay, I lied. Profane Memento's bad now. Oh, man, the plays! All right, so this is an attack for 7 with the Geist and 2, so 9. So David going to go back down to 10.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, man.
This
wow,
makes
that is some tech right there. Okay, so the way this works, folks, is...
And not only that, the Sherlock Isle is now turned off as well.
Why?
Because...
Oh, yeah.
At no point will someone have 20 cards in their graveyard.
Right. Yeah, so rest in peace. No, SVV Gordon, this is game 3. Sorry. That's my bad. This is indeed game 3. So basically what just happened was... Oh, my goodness. There's... So, David is just dead here? I mean, he's got a Mind Funeral, but I think he's dead.
Unless Sean was extremely unlucky with his earlier flip, this will not be enough. So Mind Funeral is mill until I believe you hit 4 lands?
Yeah.
Which can get a surprising number of cards if you're lucky.
Yeah, but, Dan, he's dead on the crackback.
Oh, he's definitely dead. If it weren't for the Rest in Peace, though, David would have gained something like, 9, 10 life there.
Yeah. Also, Dev Clock is right. Sheldock Isle cares about cards in the deck.
Oh, does it?
It cares about cards in the library. Yes.
Oh, okay. My mistake there. Thank you so much for keeping us honest here.
Yeah. So Sheldock Isle again. So, wow. So, anyways, so before we got caught up in sort of the action of that turn, basically the way that this works is Rest in Peace. For those of you who don't know, Rest in Peace. Instead of cards going into Sean's graveyard from the mill, the cards... Okay, what's happening here? So it looks like that's another archive trap. And, okay, that's going to be the handshake. So, David Bergmark, surprisingly close until the Rest in Peace came down.
Yeah, Sean must have seen that in game 2. Else the Rest in Peace doesn't make too much sense.
The Rest in Peace seems very bad unless specifically they have Profane Memento.
Right.
But, like, tech for tech,
Yeah, absolutely. There might have been some other effects in David's deck that also cared about this that could have made it relevant.
Sure.
Well.
Absolutely, yeah. So there we see, Banned Spirits taking it down over Blue-Black Mill. Turn 2 Geist turns out to be really, really good.
Yeah, turn 2. I mean, it's a 7-point swing with Noble Hierarch.
Right.
Which is just difficult to race. I would just go outside real quick.
Yeah, go fast.
Sure there aren't any other matches.
Yeah, Rest in Peace, also an insane piece of grave hate. Retosai, I understand if you play decks that rely on the graveyard why you hate Rest in Peace so much. It's just one of those super powerful sideboard cards that ultimately is some people say is necessary. Like, where would we be against Dredge if Rest in Peace weren't a threat? Sort of like where would we be against Affinity without Stony Silence? But like, these one white enchantments that just turn off an entire entire set. I agree. An entire set of interactions being turned off can be very difficult to fight through. That being said, though, graveyard stuff, including Dredge, can get super degenerate. So, like, at some level, like, some sort of hate has to exist. I mean, obviously, Rest in Peace is the most comprehensive way to do it, but, there's stuff like Rector's Charm, there's Leyline of the Void. I think Rest in Peace is still probably the best of them. All right. So Dan has given me the dreaded shake of the head on coming back to the booth. So we're going to kick it back up to us. We can pull up the Knoxville results.
Yeah. It looks like most games are either deep in Game 3 or getting close to finishing up here.
Sure.
And, yeah, apologies for missing a couple of cards there. These are all decks that everyone is vaguely familiar with, but the exact cards themselves are a little on the rusty side. It's been a while since we've seen Soul Sisters or Mill.
Yeah, it has like you said. I don't actually know if we've seen either of those on camera.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah, like Shaldock Isle. I definitely remember it's like 20 cards somewhere.
20 cards somewhere. That's what you got to do. Yeah. So. All right. So if we pull, so I pulled up the results from Knoxville this weekend. As we mentioned before this match, Sun and Moon, Todd Stevens, not Todd Anderson, 4 Simeon Spirit Guide, 4 Chalice of the Void, 4 Blood Moon. That is some hateful stuff right there.
Yeah, and just
Ooh, baby.
Winning through pretty much a Planeswalker package. He has 9 Planeswalkers. And critically, 4 Nahiris to get an Emrakul.
Yeah.
You have 2 Chandras, 2 Gideon Juras.
Gideon Jura is a really good card, and I think people should play it more.
Gideon Jura is a very good way of just keeping yourself alive. On normal boards, it's just,
If they don't kill it immediately, you're going to Value Town.
Well, I mean, it pluses to 8.
Right. Like,
8
how do you fight that?
and not just 8. It effectively gains Taunt.
Okay, Mr. Hearthstone.
It gains Taunt, and then all of a
they
sudden,
have to attack it.
Infect just, you can't ignore it.
Against Infect, this card is ludicrous.
I mean, against Infect, probably trade for a couple of pump spells.
But that's so much.
Which, it's
and
fine.
it buys you another turn to do your stuff. Look at this dude. He's like, come at me, bro. So this Sun and Moon deck, slightly worrying that the 4 Blood Moon, 4 Chalice deck is like, I mean, maybe those cards are also extremely powerful, right? Like Legacy, you see Miracles decks playing Blood Moon and trashing on Eldrazi with it. Chalice of the Void obviously used to trash like blue decks back by Eldrazi.
Well, the important thing is, in Legacy, if you Blood Moon the Eldrazi player,
I think they just lose, right?
Well, they just have no way of casting Thought Knot or
Smasher.
Reality Smasher. You're not playing Waste.
Right. That doesn't seem playable.
Right. Whereas in Modern, at least you have Sky Spawners, Drowner in Hopes. You can eventually get some Scions to make colorless mana.
Right.
You do have outs, but the Legacy decks are so narrow.
Yeah.
And so like focused.
I mean, the thing is though, is you do have outs in the Modern Eldrazi, but like if they Blood Moon you and you don't have an active Hierarch or a bird, you don't have. You have and you don't have a basic yet. Like you're done.
It's pretty rough. Yeah. Well, so what's interesting about Todd Stevens' list as well, and we've seen this in now back-to-back modern major modern events, is that he's running main deck Angers and in multiples.
Main deck Anger of the Gods seems like it's at an all-time high right now, right? Like it's really really good against Dredge.
Yes. I principally I think that's what it's for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine against a bunch of decks. People are still playing with Voice of Resurgence. Cards like that.
Yeah.
But
against Dredge, it's just lights out. Like
critically against Dredge, you can shut off a lot of win cons because not only are those threats no longer recurring, they're just removed from the game. And if you got like a lucky flip and you hit 3 Bloodghast and 2 Prize Amalgams, all of a sudden the number of threats in your deck are severely cut.
Right, and one of the things with the Dredge deck that sort of shuts the door on a lot of stuff that they do are the Blood Moons. Because Dredge is maybe playing like one basic forest, And so if they don't have the forest in play and you Blood Moon them, they have actually 0 ways to cast Life from the Loam and get their lands back to do things. Mm-hmm. So we've got pairings for round 2 here. Let's see what we got. This one?
So tonight there's a bit of a local judge meetup here, and we see multiple judges playing against each other in this round.
Okay.
Marina is playing against Jason. Jerry is playing against Lauren.
Do you want to get Sam and Carter here? Or that one?
Sure.
Okay, go for it. All right. So Dan is gonna hop out real quick to get things started. I'm gonna throw it back down to the play overlay. Start resetting some stuff here. So gives people some life back. Just this stuff. Yeah. So big crowd in the room tonight. Around 30 people playing, which is 7 or 8 over what we normally get on a Wednesday, which is, percentage wise is a pretty large increase. Let's reset this. Start this. Yeah, so Dan hopefully able to get us a match here while the players sort of find their places in the room for their games in the second round. And one more record. 0-0. Alright, so yeah, just resetting the overlays here, and then we will get in. As I hear Sherwin outside calling that round 2 pairings are indeed up, so shouldn't be more than a few moments. Alright, and yep, someone is approaching the table, and that is a good sign because that means that, we'll actually have something real to talk about here. So, Dan, who are we watching?
We're going to be watching Sam play against Carter.
Sam Grabner and Carter Petray?
Yes.
This is...
So Sam is going to be playing a pretty stock junglist here.
Okay.
And Carter will be playing red-green Scape Shift, Titan Shift.
Oh yeah, he's played that a lot lately these days.
So not a great matchup for Sam.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
But with Inquisitions, with Thoughtseizers, you do have game.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of have to hit the discard and hope that the prime times don't kill you off the top,
Yeah, you do have Fulminators in the board,
right.
Potentially Crumble to Dust, but it often is, just a little too late.
Yeah, I think that, the Valakut deck just, is very, especially in the late game when, all their mountains turn into bolts or double bolts, is just very favored.
Well, just with Primeval Titan, it's
right.
not like Scape Shift where it's you have a one-shot sort of thing.
Right.
With Primeval Titan, you just get multiple Valakuts.
And then every single land you play does 6 damage.
Yeah, every single land is the 6 or 9 or 12, and then it's just, it's unreasonable to grind through.
Right, absolutely. And so now, and you do have stuff like Fulminator, but I would be, let's say, just a little bit worried if I were Sam.
Hilariously, one deck that would be actually quite good against Valakut. Blue-Black Mill.
Yes, extremely.
Not only can you potentially hit, too many mountains, you can also surgical the Valakuts.
Yeah, I mean, your Mind Funerals are pretty bad because there's a lot of lands, but
everything else seems fine.
Yeah, this, mill them, they don't have regrowth effects. So Sam here, oh wow, so his last 2 cards into his hand were Forest Overgrown Tomb. He's got a Blackcleave Cliffs and a Thoughtseize. Also a Maelstrom Pulse on the far side, and other cards that I'm not sure of. And Carter has a lot of lands.
Right.
I think I saw like 5 lands at least.
So the sequencing in this game will be pretty important.
Yeah.
Carter's goal here is to make sure, like after he sees the start, is to make sure that he doesn't get something like.
Okay, so we see a search, escape shift, and then 2 cards that are blocked by the ferocious glare of the light.
Carter really wants to not get something like something abrupt decay or maelstrom pulse.
Right.
That's one.
Specifically, he doesn't want Call Me Heart Expedition to have that.
Right. This is one of the few ways that Jund can have some play against what the Valakut deck is trying to do. Calling Heart is the only real good target for Abrupt Decay or Abrupt Decay.
Mm-hmm.
And Maelstrom Pulse, at least you can hit some Primeval Titans.
Yeah. So Sam choosing to take the Scape Shift with the Thoughtseize there. And we'll go over to Carter and see what he's got. So ideally, Sam plays a Tarmogoyf, right?
Right. Yes. Turn 2 Tarmogoyf in this matchup is huge. Primarily,
it is not bolt proof right now.
It is not bolt proof.
And that's important.
Right. Sam will need to crack a fetch to make it bolt proof. But Carter would do that for him, and now the Goyf will be bolt proof.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So basic forest, suspend, search for tomorrow, and wow, I swear I didn't see the Goyf before.
But yeah,
Tarmogoyf coming in is just a 2/3 right now, but there has to be a way to make this big. I actually don't know if there's a way to make this bigger right now.
So Carter has. Carter's going to play Farseek. So there are ways to make it bigger in this matchup. You can always discard Liliana. There are Calling Hearts. You can get Enchantment as well. There's also a fair number of creatures.
Yeah. So Sam has lands, Maelstrom Pulse, Slaughter Pact in hand right now.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Admittedly.
Slaughter Pact is not what you want against Primeval. Primeval Titan just very. You can kill it, but the damage is already done practically by the time it enters, right?
Right. Once Primeval Titan resolves, it's not like, the Amulet deck where you kill a Primeval Titan, it's like, okay,
they gotta stop a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I can fight through this.
No.
This gets you insurmountable advantage. Oh, so yeah, Carter's just gonna cast on Farseek. And we're getting pretty close to the point where,
even just Scape Shift is good.
Scape Shift will be good next turn.
Yeah.
Because 18 will be good here.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he's got already 4 mountains in play. 2 more and, 1 more to turn on Valakut, and then after that, everything is a bolt.
Yeah, so Sam here, unfortunately pretty flooded. Looking at a Grim Lavamancer, which I'm not sure helps him super much. I mean, I guess he does have, 1 activation of it, and it's good, but, it's not ideal. But you do have to run it out there. It's just another point of damage every turn if you attack.
Yeah, so Sam can squeeze a little bit of extra damage from this Grim Lavamancer next turn, or the turn after by Slaughter Pacting it.
Sure.
And then responding by just
activating
by shocking, and then that way you can get creature and instant.
Yeah, and in this matchup, right now, it seems sort of necessary because Carter, I don't know if he has his payoff in hand, but he is casting a card. So here we go. Bam. 2 mana. Explore?
So Carter, it is Explore. Yep.
Draw a card, play a land. Now, if he has Scape Shift here, Sam's mega dead. He has Escape Shift here.
Yep.
Sam's mega dead.
And that'll do it.
Yikes. Brutal.
Sam just unable to present a quick enough clock. Definitely took the right target with Thoughtseize. Took the payoff card, but just Carter drew into another one, and
that's what happens with the Valakut deck, right? If you don't pressure them hard enough, they will just draw. I mean, the thing is, right, is Sam's pressure was not going to be enough, even against playing lands.
Oh yeah, Carter already had had Valakut online,
right?
So even if Carter never drew into the Scape Shift, could still win a fair game.
Yeah, just bolting people off your land's very powerful here. Sam, I assume those are the Fulminators. Also Slaughter Games, I believe. Yeah.
Slaughter Games seems good. You can name either Primeval Titan or Scape Shift.
I like naming Titan because in the games they get grindy. Like,
Yeah, I prefer naming Primeval Titan as well because that makes their Summoners packs a lot worse as well. Now, one thing that is worth noting in this matchup as well, firing off a Blind Liliana plus is very scary because not only does Carter most likely have main deck Obstinate Baloth, you can Summoners pack for Obstinate Baloth and respond and then discard it.
Right, and that's pretty good.
It's
Obstinate Baloth, if an effect your opponent controls causes you to discard Obstinate Baloth, put it onto the battlefield instead of putting it in your graveyard. So it's your turn 3 as Jund. You play Lily. You plus to 4. They put a Baloth into play, untap, and kill it. They also gain 4 life.
Right.
Pretty good.
One of the 3 cards in Modern that see play that have this effect. Locks on Smiter and Wiltleaf Liege, the other notable ones.
Gotcha.
But we'll see how this plays out. There's certainly draws with the Valakut deck that are anemic,
super clunky, or just like you have all your ramp and just you don't draw a payoff card because there's only 8 payoff cards, right? Like,
right.
I mean, I guess there's 10 with Summoners packed, but like it is possible that like you just don't draw a payoff in time and then you lose, and which is a problem with combo decks generally. It was more of a problem with the old Scapeshift decks that played multiple cryptic commands and stuff. Because you didn't, you only had 4 Scapeshifts, and you had a bunch of card draw, but like, there were games you just lost because you didn't draw Scapeshift, and that was it.
Yeah, with the blue version of Scapeshift, the problem is you didn't naturally play enough mountains. It was very difficult to actually like
bolt your opponent out of the game with Valakut.
To just naturally draw enough mountains.
Yeah, if the thing is if you drew too many mountains, you lost as well because your Scapeshifts are no longer good.
Right. Whereas with the Valakut deck, almost everything but Valakut and basic Forest is a mountain. So it's much easier to just like naturally turn it on.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're playing the old Scapeshift deck, those ran somewhere between 9 and 10 mountains.
Yeah,
and that's like if you draw more than 3 or 4 of them, you lose. Or no. You don't lose, but it makes it harder.
Right. Those decks usually play 10 mountains.
10 mountains, right. So, but if you draw half your mountains...
that's also fine. Your Scapeshift is just a little smaller, because you can choose to not sack those.
That's true.
But I have certainly played against, Scapeshift, the old Scapeshift list, where they just, played Cryptic Command a couple times, did a lot of things, and just never drew into a Scapeshift. Just could not win.
Did it and lost, yeah. So turn 1 here, Sam gonna Thoughtseize, probably gonna Fetch Shock, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna see a Sakura Tribe Elder, a Scapeshift, and
No, Sakura Tribe Elder, Search for Tomorrow, and 5 lands.
No, and took the Scapeshift.
Oh, and took the Scapeshift, okay. Okay, so this hand looks very similar for Carter.
Right.
Some ramp. I mean, he has a lot of ramp. Like he'll have 2 extra lands by turn 4, which will let him play Titan if he draws it.
Right. But Carter's hand right now is effectively 5 land.
Yeah.
And immediately draws the Primeval Titan.
So he has a turn 4 Titan then.
Yes, he's 1 land short. So I mean, if Carter draws like another Primeval Titan or something, it's not good. But
because he has land search, land Sakura, and then land from his other 2 land drops, right? He gets to make 4 land drops and has 2 ramp pieces.
Yes, but he need Oh yes, that was a 6 land hand, right? He had 7, discard 1, and all 6 were lands. Yep. So you will have the turn 4 Primeval Titan, barring Sam.
Sam playing a tapped Raging Ravine and passing it back. Carter gonna play a Stomping Ground, so he will shock for this. Every point of damage is very relevant in these. In this. Ooh, so Valakut here from Sam, and I really like. Oh wow, okay, Lily plus again. Like you said, this is very risky, but you start forcing Carter to discard his lands. He doesn't have as many lands that he can play to get to the Titan, right? Like, he probably will get to this Titan. That's the problem. So the search is gonna come off. But actually, no. So next turn, Sam has the follow-up of just, like, Fulminator you.
Yes.
And I think he should, avail himself of that option. Because that takes Carter, it sets him, it effectively, trades with one of Carter's previous cards. Bolt here for Carter, not very good.
Right, but Bolt conveniently is is a way that he can kill the Liliana right now, should he choose to do so.
Oh, you're right.
So Carter's gonna lead off with Explore. Depending on what this Explore draws him into, he still has a turn 4 Titan, if he chooses to do so.
Yeah, wow, and the Bolt just going to take the Lily out. So that's good play from Carter. They're not sacking the Sakura Tribe Elder. Gets to play 2 lands, and I think he just has the Titan next turn. Unless, Sam... Oh, wait, no, he's going to get foamed. Right? Like, this has to be Fulminator. Wait, does Carter have 1 card in hand right now? Oh, that's so risky.
Carter has exactly Primeval Titan.
Okay, if Sam has another... Oh, I don't like this play, actually.
So the problem is... the Fulminator play only makes sense if Carter's hand is exactly Summoner's
Pact or Primeval Titan.
Else, if you Fulminator...
I like Fulminating the Valakut here, though.
The problem is it doesn't advance your board state any.
That's true.
It doesn't get...
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to get punished for it, though.
Right. You just have to hope that it's not one of those 2 cards. And, I mean, unfortunately for him, it is.
Yeah.
But if you played a Fulminator and you Fulminate one of their lands... You effectively took the turn off, especially if Carter, follows up with just, plays a land and passes. It just doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, and Primeval Titan gonna hit the board here. Carter gonna go searching.
This is probably gonna get. It's difficult to tell what the lands Carter currently has in play due to the glare, but normally you get double.
Cinderglade.
Double Valakut. Carter choosing with double Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Just to shock the Bob and shock Sam.
Yeah, I mean, and I like that play. Sam does find a Terminate here, so he's going to be able to kill this Titan. But Valakut is online forever now.
Valakut is online forever.
And that's a Farseek?
No,
it's a Calling Heart. Okay.
So, technically a dead draw. This
Yeah, Calling Heart not great on a board like this.
Once
he turns it on, though, I think Sam is going to have problems.
Right.
Ooh, okay, this is so good here. He only has 1 Valakut. Get the Valakut. No, please. This is super good. Right? Like, there's only 1 Valakut in play.
Right.
That is amazing.
This is part of the reason why, with Primeval Titan, a lot of times you want to...
Get multiple Valakuts? Yeah. Jeez. Another Fulminator here. And a pass. I think you just attack with this one, though, right? Like, or you just use it to kill any Valakut that he plays.
Right. There's no reason to fire this off. Now, Carter looking at hand, I believe, double Bolt and Engineered Explosives.
Not great.
If it is Engineered Explosives, I wouldn't mind playing it on 2.
For what? For Goyf or something?
For almost all the creatures in Jund list cost 2.
Yeah. All right, serve here. Carter going to go to 15.
It is a little awkward because it turns off a lot of your draws.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Carter would have much preferred that a little earlier.
Oh, wow, the Abrupt Decay.
But this is a very good Abrupt Decay. This is one of the few ways you can get value from that Abrupt Decay.
Right. Carter going to find a Sakura Tribe Elder in the passing of the turn. Sam going to Bolt. I believe he targets Carter with that. Carter going to go to 12.
Mm-hmm. The Bolt's just not going to get any more value here.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so now Sam has, like, land Kalitas?
Yes, so corrected land, you're going to have to take...
Ooh, wow, and Carter has to respond. This is good, I like this pre-combat, because if Carter doesn't realize what's... he Bloodstained Mired for a forest. Can we fix that?
Yeah, we can go ahead and fix that. Not too big of a deal.
Okay, so Dan is going to go out there, correct this error momentarily. Carter going to sack in response to the Kalitas, I assume, because otherwise Kalitas would exile and make a zombie. Sam here going to have to go back through his list and get the swamp instead of the forest. Just like a minor misplay, that fetch, Bloodstained Mire does not get green, of course. So, gets the... Okay, good. So yeah, Carter... I believe sacked in response to the Kalitas, or if he didn't, they missed that too, but...
If Carter did not sack in response to the Kalitas, he is going to be very sad.
He is going to be very sad. We'll pull up Kalitas here. Kalitas made a huge splash when it first came out. But
yeah, it became the 4-drop of choice in the Jund list.
Right. But...
yeah, so the benefit of playing the Kalitas pre-combat as well is allows the Fulminator to get in.
Unless Carter, was okay with just not getting value off his Elder. Oh, he found a Primetime, though.
Okay, and I think with drawing the Primeval Titan...
he's not dead yet.
Not dead yet. So the problem with the Primeval Titan is you don't have any Valakuts in play.
Yeah, so anything you get, you can get Bolt worth of. No, you have to get double Valakut though because there's a Fulminator.
Right. You're almost priced into getting double Valakut.
You can't not, right? We saw what. Oh, he's gonna try to Bolt here. Okay, this is smart.
Yep. So this is just get like a Cinder Glade or Stomping Ground.
I mean you have to. It's not gonna change anything, but.
Right. Yeah.
He's gonna float. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
That Bolt is super good though.
Yep. So the problem here is that you won't be able to kill the Kalitas.
Right.
So if
Sam has removal for your Titan, you're in bad shape again.
Right. But
he has an IOK.
Yep. The IOK not gonna do much. We'll be able to get the engineered though.
Sure, if you choose to fire it off. So now Sam in a very rough spot here because he is dead on the attack.
Yes, he would just be straight dead.
He needs to draw removal for the Titan specifically.
And I believe he drew for turn already. So
he drew Goyf, yeah.
He drew Goyf. He's gonna take the engineered.
Hit the bin. Wait, no. If he attacks with the Kalitas, he dies because this is an 18-point attack. The 6 of the Titan. The 12 from the Valakuts.
Yep. This is you're dead.
Oh wait! No, he can block.
No, you're dead just from. Just from the Valakut triggers.
Right, but if he attacks with Kalitas and gains life, and then he block. Okay, so this I think he might have misplayed a little bit here. I think you have to suicide the Kalitas in, to give you another turn to draw removal for the Titan.
Right. Although it gets extremely rough for you then, right?
Oh wait, does Carter not? Oh no, he does.
He does. Because if you make that attack, yes, you live. But then Carter just gets another Valakut and a mountain, and then all of a sudden you take 9, and then any other mountain follow-up is 9. It's pretty rough regardless.
Right.
But I mean, Sam did have a couple turns there where if Carter didn't rip a Summoner's Pack or a Primeval Titan,
he was fine.
It was or Escape Ship. Like let's be clear. Yeah. Escape Ship was very much lethal.
Super good there because you get like 3 Valakuts and 6 lands and you do like 1 billion damage.
You might not even be able to get that many lands, but you wouldn't need to get that much. You just get 4 Valakuts, 2 mountains,
right?
And you're good.
Yeah, that's the beauty of having all those mountains in play. All right, let's get ourselves another match. So Dan gonna hop out here. We see Carter bringing in the Balos, the Engineered Explosives, and a Tireless Tracker. Standard All-Star, we might say. A little bit bigger before Black Green Delirium became common, but Tireless Tracker, obviously very good here. If it lives against Jund, if they board out some of their like lower cost spot removal because it doesn't hit Primeval Titan, you have a problem because this card it gets a lot of value with the clues, triggering multiple land drops like Tireless Tracker, crack Calling Heart Expedition. That's just you're going to eventually draw 2 cards with your cracking the Calling Heart, which is super good. So, interesting sideboarding from there, from these guys, but ultimately Valakut just winning a matchup in which it is generally favored, I think. Very, very sort of, very hard matchup for Jund. Very difficult for Sam to fight through. We will... hopefully be getting a new match momentarily here. Just a little bit unfortunate for Sam. Carter ripped the prime time, but there are 6 there's 6 virtual Titans in the deck because you can Summoner's Pact for stuff. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but I don't know. I think that Jund just has a very difficult time against just the pure unfairness of Valakut, right? Like it fixed all the problems that old Scapeshift used to have. Red Green Valakut probably an unplayable deck in a meta with we didn't see Red Green Valakut before Splinter Twin was banned because it doesn't interact enough and it doesn't have a way to fight just getting twinned, but like. In a meta where you're not getting comboed out on turn 4 reliably by a deck that also can like remand your ramp and stuff, Red Green Valakut seems like this is like it'll thrive here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And that isn't to say it's blatantly unfair. There's a lot of matchups where you're simply dead before you cast a Primeval Titan.
Burn.
Yeah.
Infect especially.
Burn, Infect, Death Shadow. Mm-hmm. Even some Dread draws.
There's some good Dread draws with like Rally and a couple Amalgams.
Yeah, you could simply be dead before
anything happens. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing quite a different matchup here.
All right, I see Marina on the right.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing Marina Beach playing Jason. Two local judges here.
Okay, Jace. All right, and I know Marina's on Just Got Control, and I know that because she's borrowing my cards. Do we know what Jason's on?
He is on. This is a mirror match.
Oh wow. Are they playing the same?
This is not the same 75, but
Okay.
you know the pieces are the same.
So like,
I saw a Logic Knot in Marina's deck.
she's playing. So Marina's playing the exact 60 from GP Dallas. She is not playing the same sideboard, but her main deck is identical.
Okay, sure.
So the reason I ask you, and you know, this is a matchup in that I am going to sort of nerd out over a little bit because this is the deck that I play. Marina's playing a 4 Cryptic variant with Logic Knots and multiple Sphinx's Revs.
Mm-hmm.
Those cards are extremely good in the mirror like this.
They are.
So do you know what game this is?
This is game 2.
Of course.
Of course. So there is the slight issue.
And who won game 1?
We're not sure, but we will find out based on. Ooh, actually, this is actually kind of
It's not
interesting.
Control. He's got Vapor Snag, dog. This is Jeskai thing.
Oh, this is just it. It may not be the mirror then.
It's the Jeskai mirror, but that means very little when there's a thing in the ice in one deck and not in the other.
Right.
Marina gonna have to mull here though, and also Jason as well actually.
Mm-hmm. So Cryptic Command, not completely absurd if it was the actual Jeskai Control mirror.
Right, but Cryptic
Because-
against Thing in the Ice is like maybe. I mean, you can bounce the Thing in the Ice. Bouncing the Thing in the Ice is super good.
Right.
Though.
The problem with Cryptic Command is if it resolves, it's a very good card.
Mm-hmm.
But in the hard control mirrors, it's a lot of mana to invest, and a lot of times you won't win the counter war. You know, when you're boarding and stuff like Dispel. and
Right. I mean,
remands.
getting your Cryptic dispelled is one of the worst possible feelings in a blue mirror. You're like, oh wow, this thing that I was gonna do all the things with has been countered for just 1 mana. But
even fighting against things like remand, it's very 4 mana is a lot of commitment to a counter war.
yeah, so this is Jeskai Delver. It looks like because I do see a Delver over there.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Okay.
A
So
lot
this
of
is
Delver-ish cards, and Jason's hand looks quite good. I see Serum Visions. I see a land. There's a Bolt. The Bolt a little less relevant here, but
I mean, the thing is with the Delver decks, right? Is like they just can sometimes get under these control decks really, really quickly too. It's very
I'm a little surprised to see the Vapor Snags.
Vapor Snag. I like Vapor Snag actually.
But what are you Vapor Snagging? Are you just using it as a protection spell?
You're rebuying your snaps and you're using it as protection. Yeah. Marina has to mull the 5 here too, so it's gonna. I mean, Vapor Snag's even better. But like, I like Vapor Snag as a protection spell because. I guess I like it a little more against decks with like less raw card advantage than Marina has. She's playing not only multiple Sphinx's Revs, but she's also playing Think Twice, which is a good way to generate like incremental card advantage. So like she has more she has more draws at removal, but like against the hands where they only have 1 or 2 removal spells and like you sneak a Delver under the counter magic, like Vapor Snag can be very, very good at just protecting your threat. And also rebuying Snapcaster is so good.
But keep in mind also that like you're
Oh
boy.
Oh boy, indeed. All right, I think Marina probably is forced to keep, but
Yeah,
this doesn't feel good. She's gonna scry. She's gonna keep it on top. Okay, so she likes the scry. Jason instead gonna send his. Oh, it's. I have also misspelled Jason's name, and I apologize. I see that correctly.
Oh, it looks like Raul. We see you in chat here.
Greetings to another L2 in the Chicagoland area in the chat with us tonight. So it looks like Jason won the first, or no, Marina must have won the first game. Oh no!
So
Marina has kept a hand of Sphinx's Rev 4-drop, 6-drop, but you have to on 5 cards.
Yeah,
it's not a great mulligan.
No, but I mean, you know, one of like the best 5 cards would probably be like 5 lands.
Jason at 16 here from all his stuff.
Okay. Going to find a second land.
Yeah.
And
Scry Top, Vapor Snag, Serum Visions.
And that might have been a Cryptic Command.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Flip it back over, Jason. Oh, Jason, no, please. Okay, so he's gonna pass it back. So Marina needs to draw some lands, and she she drew a Glacial Fortress. We'll play it here.
Okay.
I don't like playing the Glacial Fortress. I prefer the island.
I do too, just because
saves the information.
Because
now Jason knows every card in your hand instead of all but one of the cards.
Right. If you play the island, you're just like, maybe you play around Mana Leak.
Jason putting himself to 14 here. I mean, he's not really afraid of getting burned out, having seen Marina's hand, but this will be relevant if the game gets grindy because Marina only needs a couple hits to actually do the work.
Yeah.
Jason gonna play a Delver. We see another Delver and a Pyromancer and a Bolt in hand for him, so that's quite good. Marina with a Think Twice.
So I'm a little bit surprised with playing the Sacred Foundry untapped here. He's representing either Bolt or Path.
Right, it's not representing counter magic though.
Right, and there's nothing really from Marina's deck that you're interested in.
Flip the Vapor Snag. Pretty good if Marina wants to go like a Johnny Helix your dude.
Yes.
But I mean, Marina will almost certainly be playing Think Twice at the end of turn here. This is going to be an attack for 3. Marina actually is going to... no, I like this play better for Marina.
Yeah.
Because if she finds... Oh, I would not tap the Foundry, though.
Yeah, if you didn't tap the Foundry, Bolt would be a live draw.
Okay, but, she doesn't find it.
Yeah.
So Marina going to fall to 17. So the Delver, getting its work in.
Yeah, so...
the question here is if Jason plays a Pyromancer. Or no, he's going to play another... Okay. This is the part where you get to Helix the Pyromancer with a Johnny, and you feel really good about yourself.
Right.
You have to do this.
Yep, you have to do that.
Please do that.
It feels bad because your Johnny's gonna die, but
you cannot let the Pyromancer go unchecked.
Right, especially with knowing that your Jason has a Vapor Snag in hand. If you miss this window,
you're gonna lose.
Yeah, bad things are going to happen.
I honestly this is super critical that this Pyromancer dies. Oh, okay, and it dies now. So Marina's going to tap the Delver instead. I don't like this.
So Marina's not going to tap the Delver.
She's going to Frost the Delver.
Yeah, she's going to keep the Delver tapped. So this line is quite greedy because
the Ajani's dead to Pyromancer Swing plus Bolt, right?
Right. You're just hoping that your opponent doesn't have 2 points here. And in the Delver deck, there's quite a few spells that do 2, right?
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Jason going to Serum Visions and Scry here, finds Mana Leak Snapcaster. Jason a little bit constrained on lands right now.
A little bit constrained. He did find a Howl Fountain, so fortuitously going to be able to not only bolt the Johnny and kill it, but also play Delver on top of it.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I don't know if Marina's winning this one. I mean, she could just draw Supreme Verdict like an animal, and that'd be great. It gets Vapor Snag, but like...
Right, and with respect to that, Jason might not go full greed and play the second Delver.
That's true.
But certainly this attack on Johnny put it to 2.
Man, if this board was just a Delver and no Pyromancer and no token, I would feel so much better about Marina's chances.
No, I'm really surprised that Jason didn't go for the Bolt
kill
here.
On the Ajani.
But at the same time...
do you care?
Well, mostly the Bolt keeps the Delver from attack. Not bolting prevents the Delver from getting in for 3 next turn.
Sure. But the problem here now is Marina's going to go for the Helix. Oh, and Jason's just going to let it happen. Okay.
Yeah, Jason chooses not to Vapor Snag.
Not to Vapor Snag? Okay. I mean, he does have, like, Bolt and stuff in hand, so he can start getting very aggressive towards Marina's life total with the Pyromancer. And, yeah, end of turn, Jason will fire off the Bolt. Marina falls back to 17, trigger Pyromancer. So the Pyromancer attack that's incoming will be for 4.
Right.
Marina, unfortunately, has a Snapcaster Mage, but nothing to Snapcaster back.
So one thing I might have liked there is to actually just flashback the Think Twice.
Sure. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just draw your card. I like that, too.
You draw your card, you might be able to play a better land.
Agreed.
And, if you draw into a Bolt or Path, that's excellent. Because you have a Torrential Gearhulk in hand right now with no targets.
Right. So I actually hear... Okay, actually, Marina does also have a Rev for 2, but I like Snapcaster Mage as an Ambush Viper, trying to kill the Pyromancer, and then flashback Think Twice, regardless of what happens. So Marina gonna try to... She can put Snapcaster on the stack, gonna have no targets for it.
No, she can target...
she can target the Think Twice.
She can target Think Twice.
Oh, and she can go for the flashback?
She can go flashback.
She can flash it back for 2 instead of 3.
Flash it back for 2.
Okay,
exactly.
Discount... again, Sacred Foundry needs to be the untapped land there.
Yeah,
she draws Logic not.
Right, I'm a little less excited about the way this was tapped, but...
she goes for the block, too. So if Jason, he can Vapor Snag, and but it looks like the damage is just going to happen.
Yep.
So Marina going to go to 15. The thing here is, okay, so Jason with another Delver. So yeah, Marina obviously still in some desperate need of spot removal. Finds a Serum Visions.
Okay.
I like the Serum Visions here, obviously.
Yeah, we're certainly pricing into playing the Serum Visions because our hand does nothing.
Cryptic the draw, she cannot cast it with the current land she has untapped.
Sees a Flood of Strand and...
I think it's another land. Okay, so this is where Marina is... If the Delver flips, I think Marina's in, like, pretty bad shape. If the Delver doesn't flip, like, she's got a shot. The Cryptic Command will get negated the first time around by Jason, who's holding up 2 mana. But I like the... so next turn I like holding up mana, trying to Cryptic tap team. Jason, however, flipping a mana leaks. I guess if he doesn't have a 4th land, it doesn't matter, but... this is now super hard.
Right, and Jason knew about the mana leak because with his Serum Visions, he kept Snapcaster mana leak.
Right. He still doesn't have a 4th land.
Right, but this does mean that Jason can get extremely aggressive. Because end of turn on Marina's turn, he can Snapcaster Bolt.
Yeah, agreed.
And then untap and now have mana leak negate backup.
Yeah, Marina gonna go to 10 here off this hit.
And again, I think Marina has to fire off the Sphinx's Right for 1 there.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. She does find a Hallowed Fountain on top. Okay, so here's the thing: is like if Jason does go for Snapbolt though, like Marina just like Cryptics his Snapcaster and bounces the Delver.
Yes, I mean
that would be insane.
Right, Jason, no incentive to do anything
here.
here.
Oh, she also has Logic Knot. She does not have like 5 blue mana though. Okay, this needs to be countered.
Yes, this is certainly worth fighting for. And the benefit of playing the Cryptic Command as well, you get Cryptic Command in the graveyard.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
Torrential
Gear Hulk can target this.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what you choose to do here. So,
I think it's counterbounce almost certainly.
Yeah, counterbounce.
Okay, I think she's also bouncing.
Counterbouncing the Delver prevents the most damage.
I mean, you don't get to draw the card, but like at the same time, that slows down this attack so much.
Yes, and unfortunately, you can't do anything this turn because you don't have double blue from Logic Knot. But I mean, it
could be worse.
It's only an attack for 2.
The problem here is that Jason will now have negate back up for whatever he does.
And this is one of the reasons I'm not really excited with Vapor Snag. Jason has multiple Vapor Snags in hand right now, and you aren't able to play it for tempo against this deck, so you're only playing it as protection.
Right. So Marina here, I almost like the problem is that no matter here she gets around. Does Jason have a Snapcaster in hand or no?
I don't believe so. I think
he still has a leak though, and that's the problem, right? Yeah. So Marina has. Oh, she's not at 18 by the way. She's at 8. Sorry guys.
And Marina knows about the leak too. It was revealed off the Delver.
Right. The problem is that she has to run into it with something, and the question is whether that's Gear Hulk or Rev.
I like running Rev into it.
Yeah, Gear Hulk is a blocker.
Gear Hulk is a body that if Jason doesn't have an answer for it,
and Vapor Snag does not count as an answer to Gear Hulk. Everybody.
It does not. But it's funny, but let's not forget Vapor Snag also does damage.
Oh, I've lost games to Vapor Snag before.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Dan.
Okay, so this is an excellent flip here.
Good Helix.
Jason's going to have 5 power on board with lethal in hand.
What is his lethal in hand?
He's going to have a Lightning Helix.
Okay.
In hand.
Oh, sorry. Marina's at 8. I forgot. Yeah. And actually, no. Marina's just dead because Jason just goes hit you, counterspell whatever you do. Unless Marina leaves... Okay, no. Marina can Rev for 2 and Logic Knot whatever Jason does. Yes, that's fine.
No, because if Marina Revs for 2, Jason casts Mana Leak. If you play Logic Knot, you negate that. So it does prevent all of it.
It prevents... So it prevents...
It prevents you from being dead this turn exactly.
I mean, Marina has 3 Supreme Verdict in her deck. Like drawing Supreme Verdict here, like almost wins you the game.
Well, so here's the problem, right? If you go for the Rev for 2 here, and leaving up,
it depends on who acts first. If Jason tries to Helix Marina,
Marina can blow him out. Yeah. If I'm Jason here, I just pass.
Right, because you just Helix Marina end of turn, and she'll die to the...
Right.
So here I think...
The impetus is on Marina to do something. And then Jason can always respond. So... And even if Marina doesn't do anything, then you just pass. And then all of a sudden...
I like Rev for 2.
Yeah. Unfortunately...
Or Rev for 1? Rev for 1. Okay.
So Rev for 1 will allow her to pay for Mana Leak. And she's going to think about this, but if she pays for Mana Leak, she's just dead to a Helix.
This is just negate, though. He's negating first.
Oh, negate is fine, too.
Yeah.
I would actually prefer the Mana Leak, just to try to bait out the tap out.
Agreed. So the Rev is going to go away.
Oh, and Jason's going to go for the
Helix, and now he's not. And now he's going to understand logic, not the card.
Yes.
I mean, Marina's still dead, right?
No, Marina's no longer dead because now she untaps.
Oh, right.
She untaps.
Yeah,
there's
a
lot there's a lot of things she can draw.
I mean, she could just draw Torrential Gearhulk, like bounce the Delver. I mean, it puts you dead. It puts you dead to like I actually like Torrential Gearhulk bounce the Delver with Cryptic.
Ironically, that would leave you dead.
To what, Vapor Snag?
You Vapor Snag the Gearhulk, and then you attack for 2.
Yeah, so maybe not.
Yeah, unfortunately, I
think she's still dead.
Yeah, unfortunately, Marina didn't draw, a Helix or a Bolt or a
wait. No, she has Logic Knot for whatever Jason does. She
cannot pay for Logic Knot. She only has 7 lands.
And she has 8 lands. That Flooded Strand is in play.
I'm only counting...
1, 2, 3. Oh, you're right. You only
I'm
have
only
7.
counting 7.
All right, you can do math and I can't. Marina going to go to 11. Jason just going to pass, though. Marina going to end of turn attempt to Cryptic off a Gearhulk.
I
am astonished that he did not attack.
I'm completely astonished. Especially Delver has flying.
Right? Like, are you afraid of Resto? Oh, I think Marina might have been at 1.
There's a chance.
I think we missed a Shockland because I think she played a Hallowed Fountain at one point, and we did. I don't think I shocked her for it. Okay, so she does die to Vapor Snag there.
Okay, regardless, I'm a little surprised that there was no attack. Right? There's just no way you get blown out. You're forced to play the Torrential regardless, and
yeah. I mean, that's rough for Marina. I mean, dying to Vapor Snag never feels good.
Yeah, but the thing is, without the attack, what if Marina, drew a Lightning Helix?
What if she drew Supreme Verdict?
Or Supreme Verdict, or I mean, you died to exactly Vapor Snag, which again I'm a little surprised was kept in.
Yeah, sure.
But the attack is just free, right? There's no way you get blown out. There's no like. There's no downside, especially since you have 3 lethal creatures. There's just no reason not to make the attack.
For sure.
I think Jason, suspected that Marina was going to play a Torrential because, you just kind of have to.
Right. And he knew...
And then you have lethal that way as well.
This appears to... Oh, wait. Marina was on the play this game, which means that she definitely did also lose game 1.
Yes.
So this is actually a 2-0 to Jeskai Delver over Jeskai Hard Control.
Right.
This is one of those matchups where Delver just goes a little bit under you and you just lose.
Well, also, let's not forget that Marina did Mull to 5.
Yeah, I mean, Mull to 5 is also super hard.
And her hand was a little clunky. I would have liked to see the cards like Torrential Gearhulk boarded out.
Gearhulk's a little bit big, I think.
It's a little big, especially when your opponent is trying to tempo you out.
Yeah.
The notion of getting to 6 and being able to freely cast it against a deck that almost certainly has multiple remands, has multiple mana.
Remand on Torrential Gearhulk's so good.
Yeah,
it is Time Walk.
It's a little greedy, and I'm surprised to see some of the bigger cards, not boarded out. Then again, there are a lot of very clunky cards in that deck,
I think that if I'm Marina, I'm boarding out the Torrential Gearhulk, one of the Sphinx's Revs, at least
1 or 2 cryptic commands.
1 or 2 cryptics. I don't know how much she brought in from the board. I saw a Static Caster, Jace Architect of Thought.
All fine cards.
I mean, those seem fine, especially against like Pyromancer.
Yeah, Jace particularly good against Pyromancer.
Yeah, absolutely. Turns it into a wow, you don't attack at all. Like wow, you keep the Jace at 4. Good job.
Right, but just kind of a lot of clunky cards in this matchup in game 1, and game 2 you can streamline it a little bit more.
Yeah,
but
I agree. I think there's like 4 cuts that I would for sure make, and then I would consider other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to cutting all the cryptics. I wouldn't be opposed to cutting almost all the Sphinx's Rev, just because your deck is naturally set up to grind late. You're the better. You have your removal lines up quite well.
Yeah.
Your static caster lines up very well against a lot of the creatures.
And this is the downfall of playing a deck that plays 2 lightning bolts.
And again, it was certainly a meta call
at Dallas.
At Dallas,
absolutely. I think that if I could go and change this main deck right now, I would go in and main deck replace a Sphinx's Rev with a bolt.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes the deck, having another bolt is really good. I'm not sure about other changes. I think that if I would just make one minor tweak, it would be put another bolt in. I can live with playing 3 bolts. I think 2 bolt is it's a little scary. But again, when we were planning on when I was talking to Marina about playing the deck, we were just let's just run back the 60 that Alex Mitas ran at Dallas and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the idea of cutting bolts from your main decker is that hey,
I can win this game with Supreme Verdict.
No, bolt is not great when they're recurring prized amalgams and stuff.
Right, I completely agree.
And if you think that Noble Hierarch decks are going to be infrequent, just it could be reasonable. You just go slightly bigger and go over the top.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a little bit curious about how this deck, how when he was building it, Alex was because Infect is actually, even with 2 bolts, I've been jamming this deck a lot. Infect honestly feels fine because the only thing you're ever really trying to use spot removal on is their Nexus. Yeah. You're not worried. You have Supreme Verdict for everything else, and you have 3 of them. Mm-hmm. 3 Supreme Verdict. Yeah. That's so many.
It is quite a few. So it looks like we've got about 5 minutes left in the round, and everyone seems to be wrapping it up.
Yeah.
So we'll throw it back to the booth. We'll chat a couple minutes, and then we'll throw it to a quick intermission.
Yeah.
While we get set up for round number 3.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm interested in is hearing, what you think the Invitational is going to be like. What is it just going to be just people aren't just going to all bring Dredge, right? But you've got to expect some amount of that deck.
Yeah, I mean, Dredge is definitely overrepresented in the SCG meta. It's just decks like Infect. Mm-hmm. You see a lot more Infect at SCG events than you would see at normal events. And this is both for Legacy and Modern, right? There's far more Legacy Infect because of Tom Ross and him popularizing the deck.
Well, and the other thing is if you're a Modern player, right? Converting over to Legacy Infect
it's fairly cheap.
I mean, you have to buy Trops, right?
You have to buy Trops, you have to
buy Forces.
And Berserks, which used to be expensive.
Berserks used to be, but thank you, Based Wizards, for Eternal Masters, I guess, right?
So, a lot of people that was natural transition. You could play Infect in Modern.
So there's a lot of Infect. You say there's going to be a lot of Dredge. What against that sort of thing, right? Do you go full on Todd Stevens and just try to chalice them on 1 every game, or what's your sort of out to that meta?
It could be interesting because if too many people try to next level each other, all of a sudden the fair decks become much better.
Fair decks are much the chalice decks. I will say that Blood Moon is quite good against some of Jun's draws, very good against some Jeskai draws. Although the Jeskai control decks are very good at sort of punishing Sun and Moon stuff once they sort of get rolling a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not playing Path, for example, in the Sun and Moon deck makes it real difficult. And if you have remands or mana leaks, you can your opponent casts Gideon Jura, cool, 2-mana counterspell that.
Right,
Flash and a Snapcaster Bolt, you sort of thing.
So yeah, it should be interesting. Definitely, we have to take the classic results with a bit of a grain of salt.
Of course,
they're 100-man tournaments, 150 people.
Yeah, they're not super large.
So but you do see a fair representation of everything going around.
One deck that was making splashes that I'm interested to hear your thoughts on. That isn't it's showing up, but it's not really showing up in the quantities that people super much expected. Is Bant Eldrazi. Mm-hmm. This was maybe a month or so ago, people were very wow, this deck is super good. This is, there's so many people top 8ing with this. Did it just get out unfaired out of the format?
It almost feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like it almost feels like it is the most powerful of the. I would almost argue
Fair.
that it's a fair deck right now.
Right. I mean, I would say it's a fair deck, right? Like you're trying to cast creatures, you're trying to attack with creatures. There's no recursion stuff. The only thing is you cheat on your mana a little bit.
You cheat on a little mana, and your creatures are good, right?
And
Like let's
yeah.
not forget, Thought Not Reality Smasher. They're just fine creatures.
Yeah. Like you get to if you play them on turn 2 and 3, they're like really really good.
They're really good on turn 2 and 3. But even Thought Not on 4, it's like still fine. Right, it's not like busted.
It's not
still
great,
fine.
but it's fine. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that the deck has like the potential to have some very very clunky draws where like your draws like Cavern, Eldrazi, Temple, Hierarch. You have to put your Cavern on human. Like it just like leads to weird stuff. You can't cast. You can't cast your displacers and stuff. So and also like you open a hand of like 4 lands, 2 drowners, and a Thought Knot like.
Yeah. There's also the benefit of the Invitational. You don't submit your modern deck list until round 5.
Okay.
So based on how you did in the standard half, you can shake it up, right?
I didn't realize that. That's interesting.
Right. So there's a second players meeting for the modern portion. So depending on how well you did in standard, maybe if you went 2-2 and it's like, oh man, I really need to swing for the fences. You might play, a little more aggressive of a show. It's like
Infector Dredge.
Try to get maybe a little bit lucky. Or, if you 4-0'd standard, maybe it's like, okay, I can play this conservatively.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that it's 8 rounds of both formats, but then top 8 is standard.
Okay, so it's day 1, 4-4, day 2, 4-4.
Right, it's very similar to a Pro Tour.
Okay, sure. So, but not having to submit your modern deck list until after the standard portion is really interesting. So, like, we could see, depending on what people have access to, like, riskier or more conservative decks coming out.
Right, absolutely.
Interesting. That's a. Have they explained why that mechanic exists? Like, is it just?
No, I think like logistically it's just simpler.
Sure.
And it does. In any split format, it's always interesting. You see at the Pro Tour a lot that there are people who 9-1 or 10-0 the standard portion, but like only did mediocre
in draft
and then end up not top 80.
Right.
So their list might not be as like publicized as
Sure. Okay.
to the forefront as much, but like they still did very well in that format. So we'll have a lot of things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously, like it's going to be aggressive, right? Like, there's no doubt that like you said,
Modern is definitely a format that rewards you for being proactive and arguably aggressive.
Sure.
We have Escape Ship deck, which I can't argue is aggressive, but it is very proactive.
Right. Like you're just like, oh, I'm just going to slam this Primeval Titan. You're not playing Cryptic Commander Remand anymore. You're just like, cool, dude,
Yeah.
Valakut you. For a gazillion.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, we're waiting for round 3 pairings to get posted here. So we're gonna take a quick 2-minute intermission here.
Yeah, let's call it 3.
All right. Yeah.
We'll go to a 3-minute intermission here. When we come back, we will have the 3rd round of Modern action for you here at MTG Card Market. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We will be back in just a few minutes. All right, hey guys, we're back here in the booth. Dan's out getting the other match. Round 3 just fired, so we should be bringing you another match of Modern very shortly. And Dan, who are we going to be watching?
We're going to be watching Isaac play against Andrew.
Okay.
Now, Andrew's going to be on Burn, and Isaac is going to be on the same deck we saw last week. The Black-White
the Hate Bear,
Eldrazi
Texas stuff?
Yeah.
All right. We'll throw it down to the play overlay. Do you know who's who here?
Yeah, it looks like Andrew here is on the left, or that might be completely incorrect.
Okay, so we don't know who's who.
The left player has a Path to Exile.
So that's probably Isaac then, right?
That's probably, I mean, it could be Naya Burn.
With main deck Path?
The Path is in the board.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
wait, no, that's Isaac on the right.
Yeah, okay. So Andrew's on the left here.
Okay. So this is not another Jeskai match, everybody. I'm just, bad at getting to these overlays. So we're gonna go. So in this matchup, who do you favor? Just sort of shooting from the hip.
I definitely like Burn here. Especially pre-board. You don't have to worry about stuff like Lightning Helix. There's just no life gain. And
I mean, it's a black-white deck, right? He's not going to have Helix post-board either.
But there are.
We got Blessed Alliance or something.
Yeah. There's also the enchantment.
Leyline?
No, you gain life whenever it deals damage. You gain that much life instead. 1 mana.
I'm pretty sure that's Vampiric Link and it's black.
Yes, but Isaac has access to that.
That's true. That's true.
That is the card I'm thinking of.
Do have some good burn hate. All right, so both players shuffling up. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, if burn, especially if you have like Searing Blazes that just kill their creatures, it's pretty good.
Yeah, plenty of targets for Searing Blazes. And a lot of times it's going to be Searing Blaze with value as well.
Right, like. Kill your guy, burn you, get my goblin guy to attack in, sort of stuff.
Yes.
Isaac can slow things down if he has a Thalia. Make it hard for Burn to cast their spells. But I don't know if Eldrazi Taxes is fast enough to race its way out of to race its way past Burn.
And the Burn, Eidolon hits almost every card in Isaac's deck.
Yeah. Eidolon is super good in this matchup.
Goblin Guy also, if you can play turn 1 quite good because there aren't really, any turn 1 active spells. Yeah,
and as we saw, critically for Andrew, he won the roll. They did a poker roll, and Andrew came up with the victory there. Looking at his hand, it looks like he's got 2 lands and a Goblin Guide and a bunch of 2-mana burn spells, including double Searing Blaze. So he's needing to draw another land to turn those on, but this seems
excellent.
Really good.
This seems like one of the better possible hands that Andrew could keep. Okay.
And it
looks like he's mulligan. We may have misread the hand a little. Perhaps it was only his 1 land.
1 land in that hand I think is unkeepable.
Right. 1 land.
There's like Boros Charm, Target's Command, 2 Searing Blazes. Like
if it was 1 land, it was Goblin Guide, 1 land and a 5 CMC2, which that I understand the mulligan.
Yeah. Before we get, while Andrew's resolving his mulligan, I talked to Jason Larborough as he came back into the room while we were on break. And so what happened in that last game is it's not that he didn't attack. It's that was in beginning of combat before declare attackers.
Oh, gotcha.
Marina was going for a cryptic tap.
Cryptic tap your team.
Tap your team with the Gear Hulk. And Jason responded to the Gear Hulk trigger by killing her. Which makes so much more sense.
Yes, that makes a lot more sense.
Mulligan here. Looks like a Wild Nacatl Eidolon. 1 land again, but I feel like you sort of have to keep this, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, because you are on the play...
You're going to lose your land.
You're going to lose your scry, unless you choose to not play the Nacatl on turn 1.
I mean, maybe this Eidolon is just good enough, right?
But you... Right, like...
I'm aware it slows you down a lot. He's gonna, just gonna have to hope.
Yep.
And the problem is that Nacatl's only a 2/2.
Nacatl's only a 2/2. You do have a bolt in hand. So, you do have a little bit of interaction here, but it's certainly
He
not
needs
great.
to hit that second land drop.
If he hits a second land, we're in business. Like,
Absolutely.
Off to the races. Especially, you jam the turn to Eidolon, and then all of a sudden, your
Isaac
hand
has
is
to,
just
yeah.
more burn.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest... Okay, so...
Oh, it looks like he has a Goblin Guy instead.
Oh,
This
I
is
did not
fine, too.
recognize that card. It's the promo, correct?
Yeah, this is a GP promo of Goblin Guy.
Okay. No, this hand is fine. I retract everything I've ever said before about it. Isaac gonna start with an Aether Vial, and pass it back. So he's gonna, this Goblin Guide is automatically. Oh wow.
Oh, and we find a copper like
God. I'm not sure it gets better than this. I like land Nikatl Bolt Swing, or just land Nikatl Swing, because I want to get the Nikatl out of my hand before I have to play this Eidolon.
Yes.
Plus, with the Vial, that's gonna reduce the Eidolon damage.
Right, you do lose a good bit of value from the Eidolon with the Vial, because all of a sudden, he can get around
Yeah.
that the Vial.
Attack here.
Ooh,
Thought Knot
attack's
on
going to
top.
find a Thought Knot. Going to be a bit on the slow side.
Only a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the Nikatl, and I believe you just pass here, right?
Well, yep, if you have a bolt in hand, no reason to...
Because you just, kill the blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Draw here.
Now,
If there's an Eldrazi Temple, you can put the Wasteland Strangler into play. But I guess there's also a Leonin Arbiter I'm seeing in hand. Isaac, most notably last week, crushing Shea Straussman with Leonin Arbiter. But if Andrew finds a land here, this thing just eats a Searing Blaze, and he doesn't care. He's like, get that out of here. Get off my table.
Right.
This is where Burn gets super dangerous, right? Because they have, he has, multiple... Oh, man. So
finds the land.
Hold the land. Hold the phone, hold the land, right? I would just play the Eidolon and swing, because the next
next turn, yeah.
Next turn, the landfall is insane.
Yeah, well, if you do play the land, you do make the Nikatl a little bit bigger, right? Because this is currently still only a 2/2.
No, this is
no,
it's a 3/3.
It's a 3/3. Yeah, that's a.
This is 2/11 here. It's got the mountain and the plains.
Yeah, it's the mountain and the plains that give it a bonus.
And so I believe Andrew has deduced the line that we had as well, which was to slam this Eidolon and never look back.
Yep, and now Isaac is almost locked out of the game here.
Yep, it's not looking great. I mean, he can Vial stuff in. He has a Tide Hollow Scholar, which will take the Searing Blaze, which is super good. But that's gonna, it's gonna cost him to play.
Now, if we're going to go with the Tide Hollow Scholar plan, you almost certainly have to do it before Andrew gets to untap, because Andrew could have just lethal burn in hand.
He could, but oh no. So Isaac is gonna do this now.
Okay, so he's going to see a Searing Blaze and a land. So Searing Blaze would be the target here.
Mm-hmm. And no damage from the Eidolon.
And no damage from the Eidolon.
Wow. All right, so this isn't bad.
Yep, this is perfectly acceptable. And if he has a land as well to follow up, he can also play Wasteland Strangler, delving the Searing Blaze and killing the Eidolon.
Yeah, I mean, he'll still take the damage, but that's the best.
Yes, you get a lot
and
of value
here. Now you have creatures that trade too.
Mm-hmm. So Isaac going to 9.
I mean, he's really turned this game around in just a turn, though.
Right. And now Andrew just doesn't have
Cards.
good attacks. Also doesn't have any.
I mean, he has to trade his whole board for this.
Mm-hmm. If he did draw a Searing Blaze, it would be quite good because you can clear the Strangler and still get in with the Nikatl.
I don't think he did. I think he would have slammed it by now.
Yeah.
I think he might have drawn a Lava Spike, actually.
And if he did draw a Lava Spike, I like just playing the Lava Spike here.
Lava Spike pass?
Right. Well, so there's two lines of thinking, right? If you hold the Lava Spike, you can make your Monastery Swift Spears better.
Yeah.
If you don't hold the Lava Spike, meaning that you play it now, you prevent yourself from getting Tide Hollow Scholared again or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, so he's chosen to take that line.
Mm-hmm.
Puts to 6.
I also like this play because Isaac has a Thought Knot in hand.
Right.
So this will
and he can play it next turn.
Yes. We're also getting into pretty scary territory. Isaac is going to potentially have the Aether Vial on 3, and on 3 you can Flicker Wisp the Tidal Scholar on draw step.
I mean, the problem is that it doesn't come back until end step. It's a Flicker Wisp, right?
Oh, yes.
Flicker Wisp is delayed blink.
Right. But you can Flicker Wisp your opponent's lands. You can Flicker Wisp.
Oh yeah, no, I think Flicker Wisp is great with the Vial on 3. Isaac looking at a path in hand here.
The path not an unreasonable draw either. We have to remember that Isaac's at 6. He's dead to double burn.
He's dead
spell.
to run or burn, right? This is why he's playing the Shambling Vent here. It doesn't let him play Thought Knot, but now he can Thought Knot in Andrew's draw step, which would prevent him from taking damage from like a sorcery speed, something like a Rift Bolt.
So he can't quite Thought Knot yet.
You're right. He already ticked up for the turn.
Right. The vial is only on 3. So by pathing here, you do get an attack with the Wasteland Strangler.
Yep, for sure. I mean, you got to start pressuring, right?
Ooh, this is a very aggressive.
I believe
attack.
he might have another blocker.
It's very without another blocker. This attack is ludicrous, right?
Right.
But if you do have another blocker, then this is perfectly fine.
And we see him shuffling his hand over here. Looks like he might have dropped some cards, but yeah, I mean he has to have a blocker, right? Oh no, he might have a blocker on the Vial. Draw here is a Boros Charm.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Okay, so this is gonna go.
So we'll get the trigger here. We're gonna see a Leonid Arbiter.
Okay.
Okay.
Damage? No.
No.
Okay. So he does have a blocker on the Vial.
And we're gonna just flash in a Wasteland Strangler here.
Okay.
And attempt to go to box.
Boros Charm could save it, but like just face him and hope he doesn't kill you, right?
Yeah, the problem with Boros Charm is you get it indestructible or double strike.
Either way, it's not 4 damage.
Right, either way it's not 4 damage.
Although I guess if he and then he would need to draw another one.
Mm-hmm.
He processed the Nakado to kill the guide too. Okay, so this is very close to lethal. This is what, like an 8-point swing? But he can also activate the Shambling Vent. Okay.
Oh, so critically, Isaac forgot to tick the
Vial?
The Vial up to...
You can't draw step it now.
4.
Right.
Which I think may have been a crucial misstep, because now you're dead to, like, Lava Spike.
Yes.
Whereas before you were not dead to Lava Spike.
This is true.
He's just going to jam the Thought Knot.
Andrew is like, get out of here.
Yep.
And so now Andrew has a turn to just draw a burn spell like a champ.
And the thing is, the Aether Vial 3 doesn't do anything.
Oh no, he drew an Eidolon. Oh no, the worst possible draw.
Eidolon not quite good enough. So, very close game.
Isaac not getting punished for the Vial miss.
Right. The Tide Hollow Scholar with the Wasteland Strangler to process it
so good
was the critical play of the game, right?
Absolutely.
It got 2.
That's such a huge swing.
Yeah, it got 3 points of burn out of Andrew's hand.
It prevented a creature from being killed with the Searing Blaze.
Right.
And it killed the Goblin guy.
And it killed the Goblin, and it prevented the damage from the Searing Blaze as well.
Sorry, it killed an Eidolon.
Yeah.
It killed an Eidolon, prevented the Searing Blaze, and the Searing Blaze is worth like 2 cards because it's a creature and damage. Jeez.
And on top of all that, you got to play 2 creatures. These aren't.
This is pretty good.
It was absurd. Well,
if you're burned, do you bring in Destructive Revelry to combat the Vial?
I don't think so.
It also kills Scholar.
Right, it kills Scholar. If it was just Vial, I would not. Right, but it kills Scholar as well. It also potentially kills the Ley Lines.
Yeah, I would be worried about. I mean, you're playing against a white deck that's not like just got control.
Yeah, there's a reasonable chance that Isaac has Leyline of Sanctity in the board.
Yeah, card's hard for Burn to beat sometimes. There's also a Sword of Light and Shadow that I'm seeing Isaac considering in his board. Holy moly. Sword of Light and Shadow, good card. Gain some life. We'll pull it up on the side here. Little bit slow. Also turns on Destructive Revelry too.
Well, I mean, all of the swords are a little slow, right? But
yeah.
They're all quite good too.
Yeah, like, you get a hit in with a sword, you're usually winning the game.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the Masterpiece art here from Kaladesh. So equipped creature gets +2/+2, protection from white and black. Whenever it deals combat damage, you gain 3 life, and you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
All reasonable options?
Yeah, for sure.
Alright, so...
Yeah.
One thing to keep in mind with the burn deck is to be careful to not overboard.
Right, you don't want to get away too far from your core game plan.
Right. So, and I see Andrew bringing in Path to Exiles.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's good here.
No, I definitely like Path to Exile. Your opponents are playing enough creatures where
Yeah.
being able to force through is good.
Sure.
Also, it gives you game against Tidehollow Scholars. It gives you game against Thought Knot.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, no, so this is... I don't know, I mean, Burn's on the play again, so we'll see if, Andrew has a fast hand, but just that process is so good.
The process is very good.
Wow, I did not, I was really down on Isaac's chances, and then I just didn't respect that interaction enough.
Right.
Holy moly.
There's a surprisingly high number of ways to exile cards, right? You have the 4 paths.
Tidehollow. There's some number of relics. I'm imagining those are boarded out.
Right. But you also have Flicker Wisp, which will exile a card.
Okay. Flicker Wisp is nuts. You get the Vial on 3, you Flicker Wisp. You target actual anything, and then you kill it and kill their creature with your Strangler?
Right.
What is this?
It's
You can Stone Rain people with that.
It's a...
I mean, it is without a Vial, it is a 6 mana interaction, but with a Vial, it's it's 3 mana Stone Bolt.
And I think that's one of the things we saw in a lot of the games that Isaac plays. The games where you have Aether Vial in your deck and you're able to play it on turn 1 are so good.
For sure.
And compared to the games where... maybe the Aether Vial gets drawn on turn 4 or 5, and it feels abysmal. Merfolk has the same problem, where if you can play the turn 1 Aether Vial, it's great.
Right, but if you draw it late, not so much.
Right.
Yeah, Aether Vial outside of your first outside of your first 8 or 9 cards is pretty atrocious. If you draw it on turn 2 or 3, it's still fine, right? And we're gonna see start of the game here. Andrew gonna take a shock and gonna play a Swift Spear and attack for 1. As of right now, Isaac is winning the race. Thalia, Garden of Thraben here, great blocker.
Great blocker.
Concealed Courtyard also making an appearance, and there's the turn 1 Vial. We'll show you Concealed Courtyard here. This card has a bigger impact than I think a lot of people realize on the burn decks. It does, on the black-white decks. It saves you so much life.
Right. This means that you don't necessarily have to play Caves of Coilless anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you still do because you're playing colorless cards. But...
Right, in Isaac's deck you do, but the completing the cycle of fast lands has improved the mana basis for a lot of decks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so...
let's see what he's got here. I would imagine there's a Lava Spike or something. Yeah.
Looks like there's a Lava Spike.
Spike you, go to 16. Man, Monastery Swift Spear is such a good card. Attack? Or what's the deal here?
He left up a... He
has Bolt up.
So he's thinking of... does he want a 4-point Bolt?
I like the Bolt here, but, I'm just me. This is an attack for 2. 14 on Isaac right now. So I think he wants to just hold up the Bolt, see if anything comes down that he needs to bolt, and then he'll untap and play the Eidolon. So we'll see, because if Isaac plays Thalia here, obviously very strong, and taking no pain from his lands, very good in Modern.
Yeah. So this has a nice interaction of you can't actually bolt the Thalia.
Huh?
You can't bolt the Thalia.
Right. Yeah. No. What? Yeah. So we'll have to see if Andrew.
So Andrew, pausing here, probably gonna respond to the Thalia.
Yeah.
And Andrew does have a Path to Exile in hand.
So he can untap, take his turn pathing the Thalia, swinging.
Well, he's thinking of whether or not he wants a bolt in response to the Thalia.
Yeah, and I like it.
Yeah. This gets in damage.
I mean, it doesn't get full value out of your Swift Spears, but you're gonna need to just clear this Thalia off the board right away.
Right. This makes any attacks kind of awkward. So alternatively,
there's the path.
Alternatively, you could have saved the bolt for this turn, because you still can't. Isaac still can't block, right? Because if you block, you lose to any instant.
Right.
And then you can get a full 4-point
off your bolt. Agreed.
Off your bolt, but it is a little less efficient.
For sure.
Oh yeah, with see Isaac at 9 here.
Thraben Inspector. Oh, yeah.
Thraben Inspector going to jump in front and prevent 2 points of damage.
Oh, so he's back up to, he's still at 11?
He's still at 11.
Yeah, wow, okay. He kept the vial on one for something, and that was for Thraben Inspector. Post-combat, Andrew going to play a fetch and pass. Interesting. Thraben Inspector, again, you know, standard all-star, I would say. Mm-hmm. Making an appearance.
Yeah, so now Isaac is has a vial on 2, which, you know, there's quite a few creatures to come down on 2.
Mm-hmm.
Thalia, Tide Olive Scholar. Also, we'll have 4 lands in play. You know, there's quite a few good cards that come down at 4 as well.
I mean, Thought-Knot Seer here would almost be lights out.
Thought that would be quite good.
He has the caves to cast those to make colorless too, but we'll see what's happening. 2-drop Tide Hollow. Yeah. So Andrew needs 1 mana removal to get this out of the way, and I don't know what's still in his hand.
Yeah. Keep in mind that Tide Hollow Scholar is also worded with the O trigger system.
Yeah. So like.
So if you respond to the exile trigger, it will be permanently exiled.
Yeah, which is not great.
Right.
So we have to see, you know, is that worth it? Okay, so that's, oh no, so he's going to tap out to play the sword.
Okay.
So Sword of Light and Shadow on the battlefield, tapped Godless Shrine, and a passing of the turn. Andrew going to untap, holding up the, untap? Oh wait, he can just vial the Tide Hollow. What are we saying? Mm-hmm. Draw.
Yeah, on draw
step, get him. Ooh, wow, okay, so he drew a Rev, or a Destructive Revelry. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you just destroy the sword, right? Like, you can't win the game if he hits you with the sword. Or the Scholar.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different targets you can hit.
There's 3 targets, which is, this is crazy. There's so many artifacts right now.
Right. So just to clarify where we are in the game.
This is draw step.
This is draw step. Isaac tapped the Aether Vial. Andrew allowed that to resolve. Mm-hmm. And now we have the Tide Hollow Scholar.
Yeah.
Andrew could have also responded to the tapping of the Aether Vial and, you know, destroyed something in response or what have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if Andrew has 2 ways of dealing with the Tide Hollow Scholar, he can just let this resolve. The problem is if he only has 1 way of dealing with it.
Right, then he's got problems.
Then it's a little bit more awkward.
But, I don't know, he has a Rev, Destructive Revelry. Mm-hmm. Good job. So target the sword. Okay.
Okay.
The sword has been targeted successfully.
Isaac's going to take a little bit of damage from this.
Destructive Revelry, such an incredible card. Really fixing a lot of Burns problems. And Boros Charm here, going to get exiled. So the thing is, the Monastery Swift Spear is still a 2/3, so he does get a free attack.
Yes, this will be a free attack. And let's also keep in mind that if Andrew draws pretty much any
spell that can target a creature.
Right, he will almost certainly win the game on the spot.
Right, because he'll just get Boros Charm back?
He'll get Boros Charm back.
Yeah. Vial up to 3. Isaac...
Now, if he draws a Wasteland Strangler, I think he just wins the game.
Yeah, but I don't know if he did. He's going to crack the clue to draw another card. He draws another Thraben Inspector. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not bad. It's another blocker, right?
Yeah, but definitely not
what he's looking for.
Here.
Yeah.
Gonna attack for 2 because he'll have a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't play very well against specifically, you know, Goblin Guide, but it's fine against almost everything else.
Right.
Now, Andrew being importantly not cracking the Era Mesa to make Searing Blaze.
Yeah, that holding the fetch is just a smart play. He's gonna play. Oh wow. Okay, this is pretty good. Mm-hmm. This demands removal, because Isaac. So Isaac has the Shambling Vent attack here this turn to get him back up to 9, but this Grim Lavamancer is pretty nutty.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's drawn a Displacer.
Yeah, and the Displacer be quite good in buying quite a bit of time, especially with the Eldrazi Temple.
Well, can't he just, like, keep the Lavamancer summoning sick forever?
No, because you'll be able to respond to the Flicker when it's not summoning sick.
Okay. But if he plays it now and flickers it, it's still summoning sick, but then it goes back to Andrew's turn. It's not summoning sick anymore. Okay. So, so it's not that good, but it's still pretty nutty.
And unfortunately, as well.
Well, okay. So he's gonna go with the Shambling Vent attack. Yeah. Okay. This is fine. Flickering Tide Hollow doesn't get you much value either, but this is 4 damage coming across. More importantly than the 4 damage, it's the 2 lifelink.
Yes. Isaac now at 9.
Andrew's window is closing.
Yeah. We'll see what Andrew drew.
Sure.
Let's also keep in mind that the removal. Isaac has Flashing Displacer with Displacer Blink mana up.
Oh gosh, I completely forgot. I was like, oh, they can't do a Displacer thing. Oh, he totally can though. So now he's gonna flash in Displacer in response to this Lavamancer Oh wait, no, this Lavamancer activation is going face. Huh.
Interesting.
So Andrew needs an out to the Shambling then, right? Like he has to have one, or else he's just gonna get lifelinked back to 9.
I'm a little surprised to see this not targeting the title Sculler.
I mean, I still think he gets blown out if it targets a Sculler.
Regardless, he will get the card back.
Yes, this is true.
Andrew also tapping his only, currently his only white source, as opposed to the Stomping Ground. Probably won't matter too much, but it's also always good to keep note of that.
Yeah, no, so this is a very he's gonna pass a turn back.
Yeah, and Isaac's gonna spend the end of turn cracking the clue.
Yeah, I mean cards, right?
Right, and we're gonna see if he wants to flash into the Displacer here. I like just playing the Displacer just because it's more power on board.
Right, and this you're pressuring Andrew out of the game because you don't want him to top deck too many things, right? Mm-hmm. Displacer. Oh no.
Oh, this is a Wasteland Strike. This is even better.
The clue was real.
This is now insane. Because not only can the Boros Charm be processed, meaning that Andrew doesn't get it back, the Displacer also dies.
You mean the Lavamancer?
The Lavamancer also dies.
He did not process the Boros Charm. He processed the Path to Exile. That was exiled by the Lavamancer.
Okay, a little surprised to see that.
So what he's going to do is he's going to play Displacer, blink the Wasteland Strangler, and process the Boros Charm.
Yeah, I mean, that's also fine, right?
This is really good, yeah. So here we go. I'm going to fire off an attack for 5 points. No? Okay. Going to live. I don't know. I like this attack. This is great.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think, what exactly does Andrew have in hand?
Right, and here comes the Vents too. But he's still, this is the crazy part, he still has Displacer Blink because he has an Eldrazi Temple to do things with. So, okay, this probably is a Bolt that's going to target the... Okay, yeah, so here we go. This is where the game ends. Watch it end real fast. Bolt. Okay.
So Bolt targeting the Shambling. Alright, so we've had decisions. We got a couple of decisions here.
Oh, yeah, because he does get the... Oh, yeah, because he'll get the Boros Charm.
If Andrew...
he's not going to gain the life? Ooh.
Right, if Andrew responds to this... if Isaac responds to this, he can kill the Swift Spear in response to the Prowess trigger, and then the Shambling Vent dies. But if you take that line...
I think you have to kill the Swift Spear because you don't want him to get the Boros Charm, right?
Right.
Yeah, you have to flicker the... You have to flicker the Wasteland Strangler.
But if you do this, now you're attacking for 0.
Yes,
but
he's going to flicker the Sculler.
Okay. So the flickering of the Sculler saves the Sculler, and then Andrew will get the Boros Charm back in hand, but he can't cast it?
He can crack his Mesa.
He can crack his Mesa. So this play I
do not support this.
Yeah. I am, oh man, I think this might have been a slight misstep here.
Yeah, because now Andrew just draws Lava Spike and wins, right?
Yes, because Andrew can cast this in response.
Okay. And
then Isaac will be going to 4. I completely forgot he had mana available to cast this.
Yeah, this seems very, possibly very, very bad for... Mm-hmm. So the thing is like, Andrew, again, is just going to have the 1 turn to draw burn spell, right?
Yes.
I mean, and the other thing is, like, his Swift Spear lived, I guess the Displacer and the Thraben Spectre could block. So that goes back into hand. Tide Hollow Scholar enters. So Andrew does have a window to respond to the trigger and charm and charm him.
Correct.
Discussion here with the judge, I believe.
Right. Isaac is still going to be attacking for 4 here.
Sure.
Attacking for 3 with the Strangler. But
Right.
unfortunately, the problem with this line is that you just let Andrew cast a Boros Charm for free.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, if you blinked the Wasteland Strangler, you could have not only prevented the Boros Charm from ever going back to hand, you would have saved your Scholar, you would have killed their Swift Spear, and yes, you would have lost the Shambling Events.
But he still has to draw 7 points of burn in one turn.
7 points of burn is quite a bit. You would have 2 draw steps for it.
He's just like dead to attacks.
No, because he'd take 0 this turn. Andrew would take 0 this turn.
Right. Okay.
And then there's only 9 power on board.
Okay. Sure.
So
what is this discussion?
So it looks like we're trying to figure out where in the turn we are and how the stack is working.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to come out of all of this is that Andrew is going to get the Boros Charm back in hand. The Tide Hollow Scholar is going to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
The Tide Hollow Scholar is going to blink, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be 2 triggers from that. There's going to be the leave the battlefield trigger from the
Yeah.
first half and enter the battlefield from the second. If he wants the enter the battlefield trigger to resolve first, there will be no cards in hand. If he wants the leave the battlefield trigger to resolve first, he will have Boros Charm in hand,
But he'll be able to cast it.
but he'll be able to cast it. So this is pretty bad for Isaac.
Oh, because they both happen as the same part of
They
the
both
displacer
happen at the same
ability.
time, so Isaac can stack this however he wants to.
Sure. But either way, he's getting Boros Charm.
Yeah, either way, it is not good for him.
There were like 3 targets legitimately for Displacer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he picked the only one that I don't like.
Right.
Saving your Shambling Vent, fine. Sure, your Scholar dies. But no, sorry. Saving your Shambling Vent's fine, but Andrew getting the Boros Charm back is still a problem if the Swift Spear just kills the Scholar for free.
Right.
You had to blink the Strangler, right?
I think the play had to be.
Blink the Strangler, process the Charm. Now it doesn't matter, right? Like,
Can we pull up Wasteland Strangler?
Yeah, of
We'll
course.
just double check, make sure that's ETB trigger and not a cast trigger.
it's ETB.
Yeah, it almost
Enters the
certainly-
battlefield. Yeah, it's not big enough to have a cast trigger.
So the stack.
Could
is
you
actually-
imagine if this were a cast trigger? That'd be good. I mean, not here, but like generally cast trigger better than ETB.
Right.
Okay, so Boros Charm back to hand. Tide Hollow Scholar trigger on the stack. Gonna fetch. Gonna fall to 8.
So this stack is actually going to be quite large.
Yes.
But unfortunately, yeah, it looks
Unfortunately, it's not good for Isaac.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Isaac may have tried to be a little too clever and thought he could permanently exile the Boros Charm, but instead is going to be
Getting forward.
blown out pretty hard here.
Yeah. Well, because also the Vent's gonna die and Andrew's gonna go to 5. Which again, Andrew does only have. He has to draw lethal burn.
No, Andrew will be going to 8. He was at 11. We've already documented the 3 points.
Okay, so if he blocks with a Swift Spear, does he have another turn to draw it? Yes. Yes, he does. Okay, wow.
So Andrew now has 2 draws.
Wait, no. The Displacer can just blink the blocker.
Yes, but Isaac
there's 8
Isaac
power.
doesn't have 8 power.
Yes, he does. Scholar.
Oh, yeah, he does have 8 power.
Scholar,
He has 9 power.
Thraben.
Yeah, he has 9 power. So Andrew is down to 1 turn to draw this.
I mean, such is the life of the bird
Right.
player, right?
And Andrew is also down to 5 due to the fetch shock.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Oh,
like
right,
he
right.
was like we documented his combat damage. We didn't get the fetch shock though.
Yes.
Or maybe we got the fetch shock but not the combat damage.
so
Okay.
we'll
he
see
goes
if-
to 5. Isaac goes to 3.
So we've got.
Oh my god.
we've
Burn
got-
spell off the top.
So we've got 3 bolts, 4 lava spikes. Mm-hmm.
Ho-ho!
And a Targus command.
Ho-ho!
So-
Oh my god, it's a Tarkus command, everybody.
So Isaac punished a little bit for
For not blinking the right thing.
for missequencing there, but
Oh yeah. Okay.
we'll be going to game 3 here. I
Yeah,
believe.
this is game 3. Wow.
I think if Isaac blinks a Wasteland Strangler, he clears the board, and then the Targus command will not be good. He won't have lethal that turn, but you're forcing your opponent to draw.
he has to draw. He has to
7
draw.
points. 7 points and 2.
He has to
steps.
draw exactly Boros Charm 3-point burn spell.
Yes.
And he already has a Boros Charm that's been processed.
Right.
Like, that seems pretty ideal if you're Isaac. Like that gives you the fewest possibility of being of having that happen to you. So, a little bit of a misstep there, but these games are much more competitive than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
I did not, again, I just have not respected the power of the interactions in this Eldrazi deck enough. Mm-hmm. So, we will see. Game 3. The first game, incidentally, in which Isaac will be on the play.
Yes. And
which is important.
Well, I mean, Isaac has played both games with Turn 1 Aether Vial, and, all of the games pretty much have been close because of that.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, the Aether Vial letting you cheat on mana like that is pretty good.
I mean, Isaac, that game probably got 5-8 mana's worth out of the Aether Vial, and similar amount off, in game 1.
Oh, yeah, because he vialed in a Thraben Inspector, he vialed in a Displacer.
2 Displacers. No, he vialed in a Wasteland Strangler
and a Displacer. Yeah, so that's already 7 mana. Like, it's pretty good for a little artifact.
It's quite good, yeah. Violin in the Displacer also allowed him to keep a mana to blink immediately as well.
Yeah, Displacer Blink is so good. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you even beat it sometimes?
Yeah, so and this goes back to a play that Isaac made earlier as well. Yeah. When he first cast the Wasteland Strangler, instead of processing the Boros Charm, he processed something from...
He processed the Path.
Path to Exile, which was, there's no interaction.
It's possible that he could have forgotten that the Boros Charm existed.
I mean, it is a kind of an unusual interaction, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, if it's under your Sculler and you're not looking at your Sculler and you're looking at their Exile, you're like, oh, process your Path to Exile, etc. So now, I mean, again, yeah, Aether Vial turn 1, obviously going to be important. But I think that Andrew, he hasn't really ever had an Eidolon exist to get much value off of. Like, this is the first Eidolon just got, like, in the massive blowout process in game 1. So, like, you've got to wonder, in Andrew's case, like, if he's able to stick an Eidolon and there's no Aether Vial, like, how different these matches would be. I feel like those two cards are so pivotal,
Yeah, it's funny that the...
Double Swiftspear, Nacatl, Path, Eidolon... Some lands? Could have been worse, I think.
Yeah, I think...
if he has a second land, this hand is great.
But even if you don't have a second land, I think just off a Double Swiftspear, you keep that.
Double Swiftspear is so good.
Yes.
Like, bolt you for 5.
Yeah.
And also, Isaac, you're forced to mulligan. So this is everything is going Andrew's way in this third game. Mm-hmm. It's all coming up Huber, as it were. Yeah,
and again, Andrew is on the play here, which is...
No, Isaac's on the play. Isaac just got beat.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah,
Isaac's on the play. Yeah, okay. So it does matter. Him being able to, instead of reacting to that turn 1 play, being able to put something out in front of it, like a Thraben Inspector. But yeah, so we see 2 lands. We see
Double Swiftspear,
maybe Eidolon, Lavamancer, Path.
Yeah, something along the lines.
Nacatl, Lavamancer, Path. Because no, that's a Goblin Guide. Oh, I can't recognize that promo art, but like if that's a Goblin Guide, this hand's crazy.
Sounds excellent.
You're just gonna swarm the board.
Yeah, you attack for 2, and then 4, and then potentially
you attack for 2, then you play 2 Swiftspears, attack for 4. Yeah, or you play Nacatl, second turn attack for 5, but I guess that's not as good, especially in the face of like a Path or something. But turn 1.
Turn 1 Aether Vial. Isaac with
what a god.
The dream.
So Cracksack so he is gonna play the Nacatl. Mm-hmm. Next turn. So this actually, if there's no Thalia here, next turn, Andrew can go like Path your thing, play Goblin Guide 5U.
Yes.
Pretty good. Flicker Wisp in hand for Isaac, by the way. Important card.
Yeah. Oh, no, we don't even have to play the second Vial. A little less good. This is
not as good. I almost don't like playing. I mean, you can't not play it, but also I don't like it. And Upkeep.
Going to Path. Okay.
Yeah. So Upkeep, untap, get Pathed. I think that's going to be good, right? Like that, there's nothing. Yeah, okay, goodbye.
Yeah. And Isaac, obviously with the Leonid Arbiter in hand, could wait to be greedy. But
you don't want to take 5 right now.
right, there's just no reason.
That's so much damage.
Well, you can also not upkeep path. You can just path like whenever. It's unlikely that the burn deck is playing Blossoming Defense.
I mean, yes, this is true. Good point.
It could though. It could.
It could. You're not wrong. I just don't agree.
All right. So
Draw step. Lava
yeah.
Spike.
Okay. So.
Fetch, shock, double Swift Spear, go.
Yeah, that seems great.
Or maybe Goblin Guide Swift Spear if you're feeling lucky. So he's probably going to go to 15 off of this, though.
If there is a Goblin Guide, I certainly like the Goblin Guide.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's Lavamancer or Goblin Guide, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. Andrew also with a Rift Bolt in hand. So like he's going to have sustained damage output with these Swift Spears for a long time.
Right, and with the Path to Exile to accelerate him, he can just hardcast the Rift Bolt as well.
Yeah, hardcasting Rift Bolt not bad. I've died to hardcast Rift Bolts. Like it's fine. You're not sad. Just or you're a little sad because you died. Oh, so he's gonna Lava Spike get for 5.
Okay, getting for 5. A little bit surprised by this. If there is a second Swift Spear in hand,
because it adds so much more damage.
Yeah,
right?
a Swift Spear would make it next turn be 6.
Oh, Isaac just threw the third Aether Vial.
So
no, Isaac, please.
The first Aether Vial, excellent. The second one, mediocre. The third one, atrocious.
Oh yeah, no, definite jinx there. Suboptimal, but now he can dude, you don't know what's coming. He could have anything.
It's just there aren't that many cards.
Hey, Dan, I'm aware. This is not a good thing for Isaac.
And the funny thing too is Isaac had his card of choice, Leonid Arbiter. Andrew can path it, and Isaac won't get a land.
Oh no! Have mercy, Andrew. Rift Bolt suspended. Oh man, he's even leaving the path up like a player. Bolts him for 3. Oh my god. Are we about to see something beautiful?
It feels like
this is going to do so much damage. The Swift Spears are going to hit him for 6.
Yes.
Get in there.
All
my
right,
god.
So,
please.
So we'll see if Isaac chooses to chump block. I don't think he can.
Please. No, dude, you have to. Even if he vials in EOT, Andrew's going to be like, great.
Yeah.
Get him.
Because the problem here is like the Swiss Spears are already 2/3s. I like not playing the path. Excuse me. I like not suspending the Rift Bolt and not playing the Bolt until after Isaac tries to block.
Sure.
Because this way you don't get the blowout.
Yeah.
Because if you hadn't cast if you hadn't suspended the Rift Bolt, even if Isaac's vialed in a Thalia, you could still kill it.
Right, you could still go ham.
Now you've just allowed Isaac to just keep a card in hand. And
right,
yeah,
but the thing is he's going to vial EOT and he's still going to get smashed by the path, right?
Right, but you could have gotten a blowout.
You're not wrong.
And with this sequencing, you're not getting the blowout.
Agreed, but I also think Isaac is hella dead.
I mean, Isaac can potentially draw out of this. He doesn't even have to end of turn this, because he has Vial on 3, 2, and 1 next turn.
Sure.
So, I mean, he probably should Vial in case he draws another 2.
Yeah.
But he can also just hardcast it too.
Yeah, so Arbiter going to come in, and Andrew just lets it happen?
Isaac drew a white card. If it's a... Is that a Blade Splicer?
Oh, please.
Blade Splicer would be quite good.
I mean, with Flicker Wisp, yes. Although the thing is he lacks the ability to play and do stuff with Blade Splicer and Flicker Wisp.
It also may be a Thraben Inspector.
He got hit for 6. He's at 6.
No, he only got hit for 4.
Oh, right, because the Pat didn't get cast. He's at 8. Okay,
yeah.
This is fine. But I can't tell what it is, but he's going to let Rift Bolt off suspend, Bolt you, go to 5. These Swift Spears are so good right now. Like... I mean, obviously, there's, like, the blowout of, like, block a bunch of stuff, but is that a Goblin guy? Oh.
It is a Goblin guy.
Oh, whoa, there it goes. What's Andrew's last card? I cannot see.
It's the Path to Exile.
Oh, you're right.
So Isaac has,
He's going to Path the Arbiter right now.
Okay. So Isaac has 2 cards in hand. I believe one is a Flicker Wisp, and I think another one might be a Thraben Inspector.
All right. Neither of those seem ideal here.
Now, if Isaac wants to search, he has to path both his lands,
but that's fine.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But Isaac definitely has two two action cards in hand. The problem also here is like none of this is gaining him any life. He's not like next turn is not better for him. He's still dead to like
he's still getting smashed by these creatures.
Yeah, if it is a Thraben Inspector, Isaac is thinking about, if you violent Thraben Inspector, you can crack the clue this turn, and then possibly draw another card. The land really doesn't matter that much when you have.
He lets it. Oh wait. Oh wait, do you have to pay the Arbiter tax when it gets pathed?
Yes. Before you start, so if you let it resolve, nothing happens.
It doesn't look like that to me.
We will go ahead and.
Super Dan. Yeah, so we're gonna put Photoshop Dan's face onto Superman because in this situation he is most certainly Super Dan. Sprinting out at all costs to make sure that no one violates the rules of Magic. Although he might have, I actually don't know this interaction. I'm gonna turn to the Almighty Overlord of Google, Leonin Arbiter Path to Exile interaction. All right. Path to Exile Leonin Arbiter. Rulings Archives. Great. No. They don't. He gets to search.
He does.
He's not on the battlefield when that happens.
Right.
Vile.
I did go and confirm his hand. It is Thraben Inspector and Flicker Wisp.
Okay, there's a Path to Exile on top.
Yeah. So this is going to be quite good. Isaac is going to get 2 clues.
Right.
And he's going to be able to
crack one of them.
Crack one of them. If he finds a 2-drop. Oh, he's not going to find
the path on top.
There's a path on top.
Flicker Wisp. So the question is, does he wait? This is all before blocks. He's not going to get to block with one of these.
Right. Well, he would never be able to block.
Oh wait, I think he's flickering a Swift Spear.
Yep. He can flicker the Swift Spear, and now he can. He can't.
How is he getting 2 clues?
If he flickered the Thraben.
Yeah, he can't do that though. He has to block here.
Right.
I mean, they're either way. Like he trades with the guide.
Yeah. So the Thraben Inspector is just a chump block because the Swift Spear is a 2/3
from the Rift Bolt. Yeah.
The Flicker Wisp can eat either creature, and I would prefer eating the Monastery. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just going to
Swift Spear
actually no. I like eating the Goblin guy
because the Swift Spear doesn't guarantee damage off the top.
Right.
Like the Swift Spear only attacks for 1. If this happens, so both of those are going to die. Presumably he's going to use the clue. So he's still so dead to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So
now
untapped draw. So he's got a path.
Right now, I like going 4-3-2 on these on the Aether Vials.
I do as well because you can Violent a Thought Knot and have path mana.
Yes. And if you draw 1, you can just cast the 1.
Right.
And I think the only one is.
Who cares?
Right.
Yeah. So that's fine. So so he does go 4-3-2 and he draws a card, and I think he drew an Eldrazi Temple.
It looks like he did draw a Jealous. So again, not dead.
Not dead. I mean, he's dead to any burn spell.
He is now dead to any burn spell, except Searing Blaze.
Yes, Dan.
Actually, there's quite a few draws he's not dead to. Searing Blaze, Path to Exile.
Okay.
Eidolon, which does actual nothing.
Do you path in response though?
You have to path in response.
Yes.
The answer is yes. Yes, you have to path in response to this.
Gonna search. I mean, the thing is he gets hit down to 3.
4.
4. Yeah, and then he's alive.
He's alive.
And then he can violin any spell in his deck, so it doesn't matter unless it's another path.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless it's a 1-drop, in which case that's awful.
Yeah.
If he draws a Thraben Inspector, we're gonna have some problems.
The Thraben Inspector is gonna feel bad, but I think having Vial on 4, 3, and 2 is best.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, I think that's clearly the best possible outcome for Isaac, but. Mm-hmm.
So the best possible draw for Isaac is a Wasteland Strangler. Wasteland Strangler.
God, not again.
Will brick wall and also kill.
The Eidolon.
Yeah, kill the Eidolon.
And off a Vial. Okay, so.
Actually, I would almost prefer killing the Swift Spear.
Really? I guess you can just Vial for the rest of the game.
Killing the Eidolon's correct, right? Because
it has to be right.
The Eidolon will trade with the Swift Spear, whereas
the Strangler.
With the Strangler, yeah.
Activate Vial. Not afraid of anything. All right, Isaac, to 4. The draw step. Da-da. Arbiter.
Arbiter. Okay.
Arbiter.
Yeah, we can vial this in. And
We're
block.
back in business, boys. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. But it's still so bad. Like, Boros Charm is just dead, right? Pass the turn. Draw step. Bottom. Bump, bottom. Swing for 3. No fear. You can't be afraid. You've never been afraid in his life. Okay. Vial activation. Resolves.
So the lead in Arbiter...
Whoop!
So the Boros Charm...
Oh, man. Andrew, with the slow roll. I mean, I guess he's like, there's might be like a lone missionary gets vialed in or something.
No,
like,
I mean, there's a lot of...
There's reasons to do it like that. And just as the round timer expires for us, wow, those were some close games of Magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Holy moly. But Andrew, with clutch Atarka's Command and clutch Boros Charm top decks in games 2 and 3. Woo, baby! Get in there.
Andrew definitely put himself in the position to
win,
to draw, and I think Isaac gave him a turn too many.
I mean, I didn't see any really major misplays that game.
No, none in this game. No.
In game 2, I agree. There was the you cannot not blink the Strangler, but in game 3, it just like. Top deck Boros Charm is so hard to beat. Yeah. Especially when you're at 4. Like, how do you win?
And Andrew could have gotten a little bit more value if, during the one turn where he suspended the Rift Ball before attacks. Yeah. Could have potentially gotten a little bit more value.
He doesn't have to path the Arbiter then,
right, he could just eat the Arbiter with the Swiss Spear. But again, when it comes down to it, let's not forget, Isaac had a triple Aether Vial draw, which is pretty atrocious.
Right, yeah, so we'll kick it back up to the booth for a second. But yeah, so, like, they're just dead. Like, this is like, when Merfolk plays Jund, right? They just take out their Aether Vials because playing at instant speed is not relevant to them. Would you think, I mean, the thing is, so, like, on one hand, this lets Isaac, cheat on mana and get around Eidolon triggers. But on the other... you have to leave. You want to leave in all your vials so you can play one on turn 1. But then you get into situations like this. So what do you think the right path is?
I think you're just priced into playing the vials. You really need to be playing them, especially
because your creatures are so
they're clunky and they're expensive. Especially being on the play, I absolutely like the vials.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yes, it is. It is unlucky, to draw 3, but sometimes that happens.
Yeah,
it's not likely, but
life.
Sometimes it does happen.
Yeah, no, just like. Unfortunate series of draw steps there. One more creature might have been able to turn around. Wasteland Strangler, obviously, as we were saying, would have been insane. But like, yeah, it's just I think it's just unfortunate. It's not. There's nothing that can really be done. Like leaving vials in on the play is good, and I mean playing like Wasteland Strangler, like not having the ability to like instant speed Flicker Wisp. Is such a huge deficit.
Hard casting a Flicker Wisp is so much less exciting, right?
Yeah, I mean, and
Flicker Wisp at instant speed, you can do a lot of cool things with it.
Yeah, you can blink stuff.
You can blink stuff. You can, you can reset one of your land. You can reset a blocker. This is a ton of like cool, things you can do with it. But once you're hard casting it, it's just you're kind of pricing it. It's just like, well, this will flicker something back that you get back immediately. But
it's sort of unfortunate.
It looks like time has been called in round 3.
Yeah, so we should be getting. I think we should be getting a 4th round very shortly. Like, I think honestly, like those are the longest burn games I've ever seen in my entire.
And there was a lot of back and forth. It was
right. No, I mean, I'm not saying like I don't think it was boring in the slightest. I think it was some really, really like interesting Magic because those Eldrazi Taxes is not. It's a known deck. Like, there are people playing it, there are people, like, talking about it online, but it's in no way as, like... It's in no way, like, as well-known as something like Burn, right? So, like, seeing how that matchup gets navigated is, it's interesting. And in this case, Burn coming out on top, with some tight play and a little bit of luck.
Yeah, and that's how you would imagine the match going down.
Yeah.
So while we wait for the round 4 pairings, shall we? We can throw it to a quick 2-minute break.
This will be no longer than actual 2 minutes.
Yep.
We will be literally right back with you with the 4th and final round of Wednesday Night Modern here at MTG Card Market. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. Again, literal 2 minutes. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back in the booth here at MTG Card Market Wednesday Night Modern. I said it would only be 2 minute intermission, and I meant it. Round 4 pairings are about to come through, and so we are going to be, go through the process of throwing it down to the play area. So I can reset these overlays before the match starts. If there are any requests in chat for what you want to see on camera on this last round, let us know. We're going to try. We can, try to get something that is to someone's taste in the chat. I can't guarantee that we have it in the room tonight, but there are 30 people playing Modern, so like we have to be somewhere close, right? Yeah, so just gonna do a little overlay resetting here while this next round fires. And give me one quick second here. Life. Yeah, so oh no, Master Basser, please. We would love to see what you said here. All right. SO63 asking for Jund. We already saw Jund once tonight. I mean, I guess it was hard. Tezzeret asked for Master Basser. That might be one we don't have in the room. I will make a request, however, to Dan to get that up for us. So let's see. Deck names.
Yeah.
We're
all the
live
Scapeship decks are.
All the Scapeship decks did well? Okay, so we don't want that then. Let's... Okay.
Alright, so yeah, we got round 4 pairings here. We're going to see if we can find a interesting match for you guys. This one?
Yeah. It's just completely all right, Dan is out of the booth. Dan is on a mission. There goes Super Dan. Gonna get us a match. I do not recognize the names of either of the players. So this should be a very interesting match. If only because I have no idea what's coming, and hopefully we'll see some. Hopefully we'll see some rogue decks. Tonight, we've gotten a good scattering of rogue decks. We've gotten we've gotten some more stock lists like Jund and Red Green Valakut, but we've also seen some crazier stuff, Norn Sisters, Jeskai Delver, that sort of thing. So it's a mixed bag, like Modern usually is, right? You've got some people playing the more established decks, and you have some people playing the much more rogue brews. So get the round timer started up at the top there. Hopefully Dan is successful in securing us this match. I do see movement near the camera. This is promising. Go 4 out of 4 here. So yeah, fingers crossed that this all works out. So they're not there yet. Dan might have had to negotiate. We shall see. But, Super Dan's on the case, so can't be long. Yeah? Alright, so who are we watching, Dan?
We're going to watch Eli play against Sean. These two players who are actually both returning from a fairly lengthy hiatus.
Okay, do we know who's where?
It looks like Eli is on the left here, and Sean will be on the right.
Okay, do we know who's playing what?
Yeah, Eli is playing Fish, and Sean is playing Junk.
All right, I dig. So this is Eli Klein on Merfolk. All right, and versus Sean Sankara. All right, so Merfolk versus Junk, pretty classic matchup. Who do you favor here?
So it depends on what list these people are running, but in general, I think I like especially in game 1, I like Merfolk here.
Really?
Yeah, because
interesting. Because there's no bolt.
Yeah, well, also because there's no bolt, and Lingering Souls is just not very good against this deck.
Right, because all their creatures are just bigger than that.
Well, and also all their creatures presumably have Island Walk.
Right, so if you get the Spreading Seas down, it's pretty much over.
Right. Well, one thing with the Junk deck is you do play more Abrupt Decays than Jund does.
Yeah.
Just because, you're a little short on removal. But with no... with access to just a little bit less removal, you don't have Terminate and Bolts. You only have Path.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. So, that definitely... Yeah, so, Abrupt Decay inside combat, get the blowout,
Yeah, well, and it's just Lingering Souls, which is, a great mid-range
value card.
Value card. It's just not as good against Merfolk. Just, they can race you much harder than that.
Yeah, Lord swing with like a 4/3 Silvergill problems.
Quite good. You do have chump blockers for a while, but, it's just...
You're struggling to race them.
Yes.
Especially and I think critically in this matchup, the critical card is Spreading Seas. I think that for Fish, right, being able to just say you can't block any of my creatures, so important because if Junk can block, you can block with Tarmogoyf, right? It's pretty good.
You still have access to Tarmogoyf and stuff in this deck, and you still have Inquisition Thoughtseize. So,
yeah, you can take the Lords and everything.
There's a fair amount of disruption available. Just the nature of the green-black Hex decks, right? You do have a fair amount of disruption. It's just
sometimes Fish goes fast.
Yeah, Fish can go very fast.
1 fish, 2 fish, mostly blue fish.
And let's not forget that this is another Aether Vial deck.
Yeah, that's true.
If you go turn 1 Aether Vial, now you have meaningful creatures you can put on every step of the curve, right? Oh
man, Violin, end of turn, Master of Waves. Although Master of Waves is much worse against Junk than it is against Jund.
Right.
The
pro red, not quite as relevant.
Against decks that don't play red, you astonish me.
Yeah, but you have Curse Catcher on 1, you have
Lords
any number of
2,
Lords, you have Reedry
on 3,
and you have multiples on. You have on 4. It's mostly Master Waves, but
you could also have Kira on 3.
Yeah,
Kira. Sick blowouts. Because you play the Kira and they're like, oh, the creature I meant to shoot now has the shield and gross. Or the creature, it's you play Kira.
That
doesn't work, does it?
No, you can't violate Kira in response to something.
You're right.
So,
You're right.
You will want to, if you do have Kira, you will want to play...
You just want to slam that before you do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, play Kira off the violent upkeep and then play some dudes. Seems fine.
Or just main phase it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just no reason to get fancy.
Kira is such a brutal card.
Yeah.
It really demands, like, you have Lingering Souls and stuff, but, like, it really, like, having to 2-for-1 yourself for a card that's, like, not even part of the primary game plan feels real bad.
But not necessarily 2-for-1, right? This is a deck that runs Abrupt Decay.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it does. Abrupt Decay, it's a good card. You should not
Abrupt
forget
Decay
about it when you're talking about GBX.
Yeah, Abrupt Decay does get every card except Master of Waves.
All right, you just have more Abrupt Decay, right?
Mm-hmm. And, the junk deck should have, at least 2 Abrupt Decays, possibly up to 3.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we're going to see both players looking like they're going to keep Sean on the draw here. Turn 1, Curse Catcher, go. Very good against turn 1 Thoughtseize, go.
Mm-hmm.
We see a Master of the Pearl Trident, a Phantasmal Image, some other cards in the hand there for Eli. Sean going to crack the
Catacombs.
Yeah, the
get
Catacombs.
A swamp.
So if he tries to go for the discard here, I assume Eli is just like no. Unless like his hand's super redundant.
So it is interesting, right? Like you Sean presumably is going to cast a Thoughtseize or Inquisition or something.
Yeah.
And then Eli has to make the question, if he has multiple lords,
does he care?
Then he can get in for 2 next turn. Sean is already...
He's going to sack it. He has a Spreading Seas in hand.
Right. So Sean's going to be at 19 from that fetch.
Yeah.
And then...
I like Spreading Seas your swamp. Get him.
Yeah, Spreading Seas swamp can do quite a lot of work here. Importantly, though, Eli doesn't currently have double blue.
I think he has another island.
Right. In case he doesn't draw another island,
I think he has one in his hand.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, he does have another, and ends up drawing another lord.
Whew, goodbye swamp. So that turns off the color there. I think he drew another fetch, which is fine, but like having just blue in your Abzan mana base is bad.
Oh yeah, the Abzan mana base historically has always been a little bit stretched.
Yeah.
It is just fetch. Because you're trying to do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. Here, I can't imagine that Sean can afford to go for another basic.
No, he's almost priced into getting, because you're trying to hit 3 colors and currently you have 0 of them. Sean does go for another basic.
Been deceived.
So the problem with getting another swamp is that now you're cut off from a lot of things. Right?
It depends if he has more lands in hand, right?
Yeah, if you do have more lands in hand, totally fine. But even then, like, you can get into weird sequencing things where you can't cast multiple things in one turn.
Agreed. Inquisition. Target you. Wow.
This is a hand of, almost just identical things.
Yeah, I mean, you take the non-phantasmal image, you take the Reedry. Okay, I guess the Reedry lets you do busted stuff a lot of the time.
Right. Reedry, the only thing you can play on curve next turn.
For sure.
And
draw step.
Just, in a handful of pretty much redundant things.
Yeah.
Just the best target.
I think he might have drawn a Silvergill Adept, which I like running out here.
Silvergill... so the problem with the Mutavault is that it's going to be a while before he can play double Lord.
Yeah, agreed. But Silvergill reveal here, gets him, tries to dig him closer into, some more action. Yeah. Pass back the turn. I don't know. I like the Silvergill here. I like it more than...
I think I would have preferred a Lord. Because if you ever draw another island, then you can play Silvergill and Lord.
You're right.
It's a little more mana efficient if you just play a Lord here.
Another discard spell here?
Yeah.
Wow.
So okay. Sean's gonna...
I mean, he did draw that other island.
Yeah. So, I guess it doesn't matter because you do see a Phantasmal image. Here, I like taking the Phantasmal image. This is the only thing that he can cast 2 cards in one turn.
Yeah, I think... But it doesn't look like Sean is...
Sean is thinking about this. Because right now... Eli can just play Island and then one of these Lords and then Phantasmal image it.
Yeah, Sean does not take the Phantasmal, though. Mm-hmm. And so now he's got to play... Unless he has another discard spell.
And he...
He's got to shock at some point, right?
It is possible. Right.
I mean, he's going to shock and play Goyf, I think.
Yes, which seems like a fine play.
Getting access to white mana now, finally. able to cast Path if he has it.
Another reason to take the Phantasmal Image.
Yeah.
Your opponent can just like copy your Goyf.
That doesn't seem great for you.
I mean, like not in this situation, you
Just
probably
copy a
won't
Lord.
do that. But it is a play that you can make going down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Phantasmal Image, very versatile card in that manner. Also, Phantasmal Image, funnily enough, like if you have to kill this card with a Path, it doesn't get like I guess that's when you would want it out because it would die.
Yes.
Just die. But we'll see. So untap draw. So here's the thing, right? Is so Eli plays land, plays Lord, plays Phantasmal Image, and then swings for 4.
4, yes.
And hopefully, Sean has what he's yeah, so oh no, he's just gonna animate the Mutavault and swing for 6.
I'm not sure. Isn't the Mutavault only a 3/3?
Yeah, but so is the Silvergill.
Isn't the Goyf a 3/4?
But there's a Spreading Seas and a Lord.
Oh, yeah, this is all hexproof. Yes, this
It's not hexproof, it's unblockable.
Unblockable, excuse me. Yeah, this
Spreading Seas is a card.
Spreading Seas is quite good.
Oh man, remember the time when we were like Spreading Seas is really important in the matchup? Well, we found where it is. Because like, I mean, yeah, you could have swung with a Silvergill that could have traded with the Goyf, but like, is that a Caves of Koilos?
It is a Caves of Koilos.
Whoa, what is happening?
Looks like Sean's gonna take a point here. He's
And
gonna
play
cast
Lily?
a Liliana.
I don't know if this is good enough.
So Sean is at 6. Isn't he just dead to like if Eli sacks the
He sacks a Silvergill, plays a Lord, animates a Mutavault, kills you. Yes.
Yes. I mean, Sean could have Path.
I don't know if his last card is Path, but we'll find
he
out.
has left Path up.
I want to believe if he has Path, it's a huge blowout. I think Echoing Truth to draw?
Yes.
All right, I dig. So interestingly, you can target your own. Man, the way he animates is and yeah, his last card is not Path, by the way. Is an Elspeth Knight Errant. What is this junk list? Woo, this is spicy.
Yeah.
Whew, the heat.
Yeah, this is like Elspeth was a card that used to be played in this list.
Okay.
Still a very powerful, 4-mana card.
Makes your Gorf's real big.
Yeah,
Give me that 3/3 flyer.
It is one way to close the game very quickly. May have been partially supplanted by Gideon, if you want an effect like that.
Yeah, Gideon seems great because you make 2/2 tokens and you.
And it's also attacks for 5, which is.
It gets Path, but against decks that don't run Path, it seems really, really good.
Yeah. But yeah, that game really
decided by mana-based things.
The Spreading Seas did end up going to distance, and then Sean, despite drawing the triple remove disruption hand.
I mean, Eli had the like quadruple redundancy hand, right?
Yeah, there was just nothing really meaningful to take. It was all the same.
It's like, oh wow, I can't tear apart any synergies because they're all doing the exact same thing. So, it seems all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you're right. This does really seem difficult for junk. Like, no Bolt is hard left. I mean, you can play like Disfigure, but Disfigure is so bad once they have a Lord, right? Like, I guess you Disfigure the Lord then. I guess it's bad when there's 2 Lords. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, no. Seriously though? How do you feel about Disfigure coming in from the board here?
I would be surprised if I like Disfigure. It's just you just need more removal, right? Like if they build up a critical mass, you're already dead.
That's true.
And this is just a way that you can disrupt. Because, like, individually, the Merfolk creatures are pretty weak.
Yes.
A lot of them, they're just bears. And...
or worse, yeah.
Yeah, or worse.
Right, absolutely. So, no, I completely agree. Like, you've got to... the Merfolk deck, when they're top decking, is super sad. Like, cool, play a bear.
I mean, the Merfolk deck does have good top decks, right? Let's not forget that...
Master of Waves exists.
Master of Waves can be a beating.
Master of Waves on an empty board even is fine. It's like, cool, have Path or lose. And, sometimes you lose.
This is very true.
But
yeah, Eli was just, a very efficient draw and doing kind of what Merfolk wants to do.
he took it at the right pace. You know?
He didn't interact at all with what Sean did. The only interaction in that game was
Spreading Seas.
sack your Curse Catcher to counter a Thoughtseize.
And also the Spreading Seas, right? Like that counts as interaction.
Sure. Also the Spreading Seas. We'll classify it as interaction.
Right.
But other than that, just ships passing in the night.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Well, more like ships. The ships passed in the night, but Junk was really looking for the Merfolk ship, to be certain. Got the radar on high, but here we go again. Opening hands, Island Mutavault stuff. I feel like Eli might have like 4 lands here, which is not keepable, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't.
There's a Siege Rhino on the left. Let's go. And that's going to be a solid mulligan for Eli.
4 lands, especially since
it might have been more than 4 too.
It's a blue deck without card selection. Your only redraws are Spreading Seas and Silver Gales, which are blind draws, right? There's no Serum Vision effects.
Yeah, you're not scrying.
Yeah. So if you keep a land heavy hand
and you draw 2 lands, you lose.
Exactly. If you draw nothing but gas, it's fine. But if you draw even like 1 more land, it's like now your hand is just so anemic.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, you're really looking for like that 3 land, 4 good cards draw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see, if Eli can come up with a better 6. He does have the benefit of being on the draw, so even though he doesn't get to go first, he will get to sort of like repair his hand with the extra card.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 6 cards off the top. Spreading Seas, some lands, 2 Spreading Seas.
And I think that's an Aether Vial in the back there.
Oh yeah, Reedry, Aether Vial, 2 Spreading Seas, 2 lands, Master the Pearl Trident on top. Yeah, Sean, wait, you need that triple discard now. Oh man, he's gonna bottom? I'm so confused, but I might not have seen the right card on top. As is common.
We'll start with the Catacombs and the Pass.
Draws Mutavault.
Eli's gonna land in is that an Aether Vial? It is an Aether Vial.
All right,
Modern Masters Edition.
Woo! Aether Vial, letting people cheat on mana since whenever it was first printed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we're looking at the fancy art too now. Printed as a masterpiece in Kaladesh. Sean here going to fall to fall to 19 on this fetch land. So here's the thing: if you're Junk, right? Like your ability to like kill things revolves a lot around abrupt decay sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And the question becomes, do I decay this vial? Does it slow him down enough for me to win the game if I decay it? That sort of thing.
So because you're on the play, Vial is not really doing anything on 1, right? If you cheat a Curse Catcher, fine. So you do get a free turn to play whatever you want on turn 2.
But
it looks like he did draw a Goyf.
Yeah, the Goyf, you're not afraid of Bolt here, but shock off the Overgrown, going to go to 17. That Overgrown looks like a real juicy target for some Spreading Seas.
But again, this is all fine.
You're on the plate. Oh, it's a Bob instead.
Oh, it's a Junk Cliffs with Bob. Okay, that's interesting. So a lot of Junk Cliffs don't play Bob because your curve is just a little bit too high.
Yeah.
But Bob is an excellent.
He's going to get a lot of advantage because there's no way that Eli can kill it. So he's just going to draw 2 cards a turn for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And this helps him draw out of Spreading Seas too.
Yes.
Eli obviously needing these redraws here. Draws another Spreading Seas. Oh, man.
Yeah, Sean could be cut off pretty hard on mana.
Yeah, he's got to hope that this Bob just gets there, right?
Yeah.
And doesn't flip like 4 drops or something.
Mm-hmm. Which, there's a fair number in this deck.
What? I think he flipped it over on top of the library.
Yes, it looks like he did flip it.
And I think it was a land because no one recorded any life totals.
Yep.
Okay. That's somewhat upsetting. But no deal.
All right, so Sean's got an attack for 2.
Caves of Koilos in hand.
Yeah.
I don't actually like an attack for 2 here.
Absolutely.
It puts your Bob at Curse Catcher threat. I don't like trading the Bob for that, but that's just me. Looks like he's going to take a Pain here and cast a Lingering Souls.
Mm-hmm. You've already gotten a card off of the Bob. I actually don't hate the trade. If he Vials in a Curse Catcher.
I don't think he has a Curse Catcher either.
Yeah, he clearly does not have a Curse Catcher, right? Else this would have been countered.
Yeah.
And now he just has a free attack.
Mm-hmm. Ding.
Eli going to 18.
Yep. Dark Confidant. Greatness at any cost.
Again, like if you had the choice, would you rather have resolved as Lingering Souls, or would you rather have the Bob? I'd rather resolve the Lingering Soul.
That's fair. That's fair. So untap here, trigger Vial. So here's the thing though, is like now Eli can target the caves, right? And if Bob doesn't have, or if Sean doesn't have another black source, he's in some pretty big trouble with regards to with regards to like flashing back Lingering Souls even.
Yeah, I would actually prefer targeting the Temple Garden because that cuts you off of green, which is going to be much more relevant.
Sure. I mean, I agree with you there. I can't tell what exactly that spreading seas is targeting.
It looks like it's targeting the Temple Garden. And I like this play a lot because now green is... you need double block for Liliana, and that's just about it.
Green gets Goyf. I mean, that's how you make this much faster, right? Like,
right. So now we've got two effectively colorless lands.
I don't know how much his life went down there.
We'll just see what the card that gets drawn here. It looks like it is a Liliana, so
okay.
It'll be taking 3 here. Pretty uncastable Liliana, and then draws a Goyf for turn, which is also currently uncastable.
The Lily's castable. The Goyf is also castable.
No,
he drew a fetch.
Yeah. Either of them are now castable.
But not both. Right. He's gonna at least go to 12 off this fetch. I think it's a basic.
It looks like a basic.
Yeah.
If he got an Overgrown, he could potentially cast both of these. Not this turn, but he would have double block and the green.
Yeah. I think he just wants to play Goyf. He's got a lot of cards in hand from the Bob, just drawing him cards every turn. So yeah, so it looks like he got a basic forest. Gonna run out of Goyf.
Yep, and I like attacking with everyone here. If Eli wants to
with the team.
Yeah, if Eli wants to trade a Lord for a Bob, by all means.
So good.
Yeah.
So Goyf only a 2/3 right now. Yeah, I mean Eli has another spreading seas, but at some point he has to like start doing things to affect the board.
Well, again, let's not forget this is all
another pain here.
Yep, and he's gonna flash back the Lingering Souls.
Okay.
So you're gonna go to 11, and at this point, I definitely like an attack for 4. This is also going to shrink the Goyf to
Goyf is a 1/2. There's only land in the graveyard right now.
Yeah, which is a little less exciting.
Agreed.
But
this is an attack for 4, bringing Eli to 14.
And
he's considering things, but I think he's gonna just take it.
Yeah, Eli can't trade a Lord from the Bob.
Yeah, I mean, if he puts in a Lord end of turn though, suddenly Sean is on like a real clock. Activate. Phantasmal Image, copy your Bob. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this play at all. This is going to allow.
Trigger Vial.
I would prefer to stack the triggers so you do the Bob trigger first. So potentially maybe you don't want to push the 3.
Oh, if you reveal a 2-drop.
Yeah.
I think he's chosen to do just that. Actually.
And I think he just figured out.
Okay.
Sees
so
the 8th vial, takes 1, goes to 13.
The 8th vial problem.
And now, do we leave it on 2 or do we go to 3?
Up.
We're gonna go to 3.
I think he has a Reedry in hand. Draw for turn.
Yep.
Drew a Lord. Punished.
But I mean, this is a fine turn, right? Like
he gets to play a Lord.
He gets to play 8th vial, Lord, and Violent Reedry.
Or he can use his 3rd spreading seas.
He can use the 3rd spreading seas.
Violent Reedry, play a Lord. Like, yeah, no, I like spreading seas even harder. Just like spreading seas 3, spreading seas harder, the sequel, you know?
The problem is you are going to be taking quite a bit of damage.
I agree. I mean, you can throw your Bob away.
Also, by Violent and the Reedry, now you can start untapping stuff.
Yeah, this is crazy. So he needs to go spreading seas first.
No, you play Lord first and you untap.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, play your Lord.
Play Lord.
Trigger. Get there. Okay.
And you can even play another Lord if you have one.
Or he can play Vile spreading seas, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to animate Mutavault. No fear. This is an attack for 4. Sean going to go to 7.
Yeah.
Pithing Needle. What is that going to name? Probably Lily?
Yeah, probably Liliana. This is the only card that that Eli knows in hand.
So here Eli probably also Sean flips the wrong. Okay, that's a 2.
Okay. Scavengers with 1 green source.
Seems suboptimal to me, but
Yeah.
I'm just a commentator. So I guess depending on what Eli draws, he could have lethal here. He's definitely not gonna die from this attack because this is only for 5, and the Goyf can't even attack, right? Like,
No support. So let's see. Eli has 7 unblockable damage right now.
oh,
So unless Sean has removal,
oh, you're
he
right.
is
I
dead.
completely forgot that the Reedry is also a fish.
Yeah.
All right,
Phantasmal Image, strangely enough, is not. But
because it's a human wizard.
right. So Sean needs to. She has a Siege Rhino, which is comically uncastable.
He's only a land off of casting it.
Yeah. But even the land.
I mean, the land still hurts him.
Yeah.
1 fish, 2 fish. Let's go mono blue fish.
Casting the Scavenging Ooze would leave him almost dead on board.
I think he's still dead on board.
Yeah.
7 unblockable damage is real. Ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
Okay. So unless he has removal, right? He has to have exactly path, right?
Yeah.
He has to path the Mutavault.
No, he paths the Lord.
Oh, right. Duh. But no, he's going for the fences here.
Okay.
Swing,
Swing for 4.
crack for 4. Eli to 9.
Again, if you don't make this attack, how do you win the game?
Oh, I agree. No, this is the right attack. Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, if he has a path, right? Like, that needs to, he hopefully. So Eli again gonna get to draw another card here because of this. Because of this copied Bob. Draws a Silvergill, so that's a redraw, right?
Yep. Eli would go to 7.
Yep. Draws.
And then-
Draws a Curse Catcher. Not sure how that helps him, but
The Curse Catcher can. Doesn't really matter here because Sean
wait.
does have an island.
so I like playing this. You play the Silvergill.
So playing the Curse Catcher is free, right? You
Right.
can just untap. You play the Curse Catcher, untap, play the Reedry, which only costs
Play
1.
the Silvergill.
Excuse me. Yeah, play the Silvergill, reveal
Reveal the Curse Catcher.
Curse Catcher, right?
He has to reveal here.
Sean knows about it.
Oh,
right?
that's true.
Eli, he can also tap.
So now Sean's just dead, right? Unless he floated.
It looks like he floated, and he does have path.
Path targeting.
Now this has to.
Okay. Oh wait, no, he's still not dead, but okay, he's pointing differently now.
If he targets Master Pro Trident, which I think he will, this means that these attacks are no longer unblockable.
Right. He's got a 2/3 Goyf now, and a Scavenging Ooze and a Bob.
So I don't really like this this tapping of the mana because he can always do something in response, right?
Yeah, I think just like getting to play your Curse Catcher, because now Eli has to choose between playing his Curse Catcher and activating Mutavault.
Yes. No, he still can play Curse Catcher, right?
Oh yeah, he can just untap.
He can just
activate
untap.
Mutavault.
Right.
But okay, so that's his draw for turn.
Okay.
Why did he draw a card?
From the Silvergill.
Oh yes.
So we do still have a free Curse Catcher, which
Yeah.
I mean you might as well run it out.
And he has a Cavern, so he has another land.
Yeah.
He's got Aether Vial last Spreading Season hand. Brutal. He might just be dead.
I mean you can play the Curse Catcher and tap a creature. Ooh, actually, this may be if we can bring up Reedry. If Eli went tap your Goyf, tap your Bob, all of a sudden I think that's just is that just lethal even through a path?
Tap your Goyf, tap your Bob.
Tap your Goyf.
So there's
tap your
one
Bob.
blocker, and there's
There's also Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah,
There'll be
there's
one
still
blocker,
Ooze, yeah.
and you can attack with the Phantasmal Image, the Reedry, and the Mutavault.
yeah, and
you can
any
block
two of
one.
them getting through is lethal.
Yes.
Play the Curse Catcher, trigger Reedry. So now I think he's realizing this, and he's tapping the Goyf.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is here is that Sean has to trade his creatures to not die, right? Like, Eli's okay with this happening.
So now this, because Eli didn't go for the tap your creatures plan, you don't have any unblockable attackers. So now it's a little bit awkward, right?
Yeah.
If you attack with everything, right? If you attack with the Bob, the Reedry, the Mutavault, you're going to be taking a fair amount of damage on a swing back, and Sean now won't die from the bob trigger.
This is true. Yeah, getting to block with the bob is really good. But I think you're sort of with Eli, you're forced to do this, right?
So if he attacks for, he's going to attack for 5 here, force a block. Okay, so what is Sean going to do? He's
gonna block.
He can either eat the Mutavault if he double blocks, or he can. I definitely want to kill this Bob, right?
Yeah.
So I think I like throwing the Bob under the Mutavault and take 2.
Take 3.
No,
take 2.
Take 2
yeah.
Because this way, Eli still has a Bob.
A Bob, so you can hit him and hope he flips Master.
And you have 4 in the air.
Double block. He's gonna double block the Mutavault, yeah.
Yep. So
seems good. But he does.
So this is I think a bit of a misstep from Eli.
Yeah.
I would have assigned all 3 damage to the Scourge and forced Sean to flip. Because now Sean's at 3 and he could have died from this Bob.
Right. So now though, and also if he draws land, he just attacks for 4 and plays Siege Rhino.
Yes. So what did
he drew Lingering Souls?
Oh, that was Lingering. So if
yeah.
Eli,
wow. Okay. So if he had
if Eli let Sean flip a card,
no, Eli, please. Oh man. So yeah. Wow. That matters in such a weird way. Holy cow.
Right. And now the problem also is Sean can attack for 4 in the air, and then Eli has a Bob trigger.
Eli's much less likely to die, but I agree.
But you have 3 Rejuries left. You have 4
Master of Waves.
You have maybe a Kira. So this is.
It's a non-zero chance that Eli dies to the Bob flip.
Yeah.
And Sean gets to cast the Lingering Souls, make 2 blockers. Is that good enough? It depends on how he attacks, but I think you go for 4 in the air.
So if you cast the Lingering Souls, you go to 2 from the Painland.
Yeah.
And then.
Then you just block everything except the Curse Catcher. And you're fine.
Yes, but you.
No. You go to 2 from the Painland. I lied. You're dead.
No, you can. Yes, you can only attack for 3 in the air.
I imagine all this calculus is playing out in his head. Wow, this is so tight. Oh man! But if he had just not killed the Bob, it'd be over, right?
Yes.
If Eli had been like, okay, your Scoos is dead. Okay, here we go.
I think this might put Sean dead on a swing back.
Does he care? What's happening?
Alright, so Sean's gonna go to 2, play the Lingering Cells. He's at 2. With only 3 blockers, and all of Eli's attackers have 2 power or more.
Yep.
So
Bob flip! Woo, baby!
So Eli only takes 1 here, and importantly can tap down a defender now. Okay, so
did he draw a Lord?
No, he drew
Harbinger.
Yeah.
But that's not.
This can tap down the extra.
Oh. There we go. And Sean Sankar gonna extend the hand to Eli Klein. Merfolk taking it down, super duper close. Over Junk.
We'll see if we can find another match.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
Yeah. All right. So. Wow. What a match. That was crazy. And also, I have to, express just I did not see that interaction between kill your Scoos, leave your Bob alive so you die to it. Unbelievable call there by Dan. Turns out it would have been lethal, but it also doesn't matter because Eli's Bob does not kill him. How weird is that? The fish player, the mono blue fish player, doesn't die to the Bob flip. That's a sentence I didn't expect to say tonight, people. This is one of the reasons I love Modern. It's cool, I'm a Merfolk player, and I'm a Junk player, and I have a Bob. Well, I have a Phantasmal Image, and suddenly, Merfolk is drawing these extra cards, and it works out. Also, Spreading Seas. Spreading Seas is so good. What? The multiple Spreading Seas draws both times just prevented Sean from doing anything meaningful with his mana. It's cool, you control islands, and you have, all these mana symbols in your base. You don't have a bunch of, colorless costs, right? You're looking for green, you're looking for double black, you're looking for Abzan colors for Rhino. Spreading Seas coming in huge here for Eli, and also just, draw a card! Draw a card! Cantripping while disrupting your opponent's mana base super well done. Eli, may have misplayed a little bit with the tapping down of lands versus the tapping down of blockers, but ultimately it works out in his favor. He doesn't die to the Bob flip as the Merfolk player, and he takes it down 2-0, Merfolk over Junk, Eli Klein over Sean Sankara. Unbelievable match, and I'm really, really happy we got to see something like that happen on camera tonight. Just like, that is such a, it's such a small little interaction, and just like all these little minutiae come together, and wow, I'm so happy in the booth right now. I'm super excited because that was so cool. Just like, great play by Eli. Also, Sean fighting as hard as he can to get out from under, just the water just washing over his lands. Like, no, please. TX Rager in the chat, it also turns off manland beatdowns. As a Jeskai player, I have had my turn 1 colonnade on the draw spreading seas so many times by Merfolk, and I'm like, cool, I can't do anything now. I can't cast Path, can't cast Wall of Omens. I'm going to put an island in play eventually, right? But, this is horrible. It's such a powerful card, and I really, Fish players, obviously will sing its praises to the high heavens, but, it's so crucial to the deck. If it didn't exist, Merfolk would be so much worse. You'd have to play Seize Claim, which is, pretty bad. You play Seize Claim as, your 5 through 8 spreading seas effects. Playing Seize Claim as your 1 through 4 disruption effects. Sure, it costs 1 mana, but does it draw a card? That's the real question. So, yeah, I don't know. That was like a 40-second, discourse on why Spreading Seas is such a wonderful card for the Merfolk deck. But, it's over. And speaking of things being over, we're going to kick it back up to the booth here. Dan, any matches left?
No, it looks like every match remaining is in game 3.
All right, so we are not going to get another match tonight, which is unfortunate. But we saw some really cool Magic tonight.
We did. A lot of really close matches. A lot of new players, a lot of different decks.
Yeah.
Exciting to see players, from way back when come back and join us here for Modern.
Lots of people in town, just show up for Modern. This is a good tournament.
On that note, for people who are in the Chicagoland area, just as a reminder, the shop will be closed tomorrow for Thanksgiving, but they are having several Black Friday deals.
There's a lot of things happening with regards to deals.
Right, and some pretty aggressively priced.
What would you say? What'd you see? What catches your eye?
There's some heavily discounted boxes.
Okay.
Several holiday gift packages. The details, if you check the MTGCardmarket Facebook page, will have the specifics of it. Yeah. But there's quite a few deals available.
Yeah. And so, as we're signing off here tonight, everyone have a happy holidays. I hope tomorrow goes well for you all. If you're traveling, I hope that goes safely. It's a pleasure to cast for you guys, and we really appreciate all of your support.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good night, everyone, and thank you for joining us.